Good morning, everyone in Macon, Georgia, and everyone else around the world through the World Wide Web. This is the Morning Roast for Wednesday, Hump Day, May 22nd, 2013. This Irv, you know his name, Irv Martinez, Derek Barrett, and Ed Macon's Karaoke Highbinder.
Scare you.
Have you been smoking something that I don't know about you, like a covert weed smoker?
I don't know why I'm tripping over words, man.
Did you get laid last night?
It's one of those.
I said happy, not euphoric.
Shadow there, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, everybody. That's two people. Good morning, DS Photo Guy. What's up, buddy? And Ant's Vagina.
Let's be his friend. Somebody loves Ant.
I guess
Who
they
was
do.
the other one that was the other day? There was
Which one? Are they going to have an Ant's asshole one day and something
Ant
else?
Smile.
Yeah. Anyway,
Well,
good morning. What's the temperature here?
it's 8:06 a.m. in
I
Macon,
should
Georgia.
make him a mod.
It's 66 degrees right now. 66 degrees outside. Just barely sunny with a high of 87 and a low of 67.
And a high of Derek.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
It's gonna look good this week.
I guess it's going to be a good weekend. I hope.
The ring dang.
Hey, listen, it's
Well, not only that, because it's going to be good weather, and plus it's going to be Memorial Day weekend. And you know when Memorial Day comes, you know what's going to be on for Sunday. They're going to have the Indianapolis 500 playing.
Oh, I bet my old roommate's having an orgasm right now. He loves that crap with the cars.
Racing, yeah.
Car racing, NASCAR,
Yeah.
all that stuff. I mean, I like it too when I'm into it, and I have a couple of beers and maybe a couple of, a hit on joint there, and then I have no problem. I could watch it, but if just being a big fan of it, no.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but it's true. Not only sports, it's tradition. And it's not the Indy 500. They don't use NASCAR stock cars. It's basically F1 Formula One cars. The little skinny, thin cars with the huge tires, and you don't have like that much room. You just basically just got one seat.
Yeah.
And then just pray that you stay in one piece, because it's just basically just one.
One piece.
Yeah, just one piece. Yeah, no back seat or nothing. You just strapped in a seat.
Yeah, you're like in a rocket.
Yeah, a rocket, a huge rocket on wheels.
Now, what is the real sport of that? Just having good reflexes, I guess.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much it. Good reflexes, good hand-eye coordination. To make the left turns as best as you can without hitting anybody else or hitting the wall. Yeah.
Well.
Have a good pit crew,
Exciting. I love driving, so I can kind of relate. I just don't like driving at 100
miles an hour.
Although I have to say, it's funny. I used to have a business up in Thornwood, New York, which is like about an hour up,
right,
from Yonkers. I mean, never mind New York. It's almost an hour to Yonkers.
Wow.
It's an hour from where I lived anyway. It's about an hour to Yonkers, and then an hour to Thornwood. So it's about 2 hour ride from where I live. And dude, I used to hit that highway at 100 miles an hour. I didn't even realize it because it's so freaking wide. And then there's these like hills like this, and you go up and down. There's some areas like that.
I felt like you were one of the Duke boys in Dukes of
Hazzard. Oh, my God. And you're looking straight ahead, but the road's like up there, way down, but the road is like up there. So you're going down, then you're coming up, and then you don't know what's on the other side of that.
Oh, yeah. I remember when before I had my Buick, I used to have this 93 Saturn, and I used to love it because it had this turbo button. When I had to, if I was like late, I always hit that turbo button, speed up, overdrive, work, and I used to work it all the time. I remember when I used to go to Athens just to see my friends when they had like alumni stuff. They had this Madison bypass.
Yeah.
Which thank goodness, because it cut down the trip in half, because before they built it, it was like a 5 hour drive from
right,
Macon,
and it cut it down to what?
To 2.
Wow.
2, yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, it was like a 4 mile pass, but man, I used to hit that sucker, man, hit 85, 90 on that, and then just a straight shot, just a straight 4 mile shot. Well, 2 miles you go in, and then another 2 miles you just forward.
But it's just straight.
Yeah, straight. And I remember I was getting so good. I was hitting like a 105 on the like 100.
Yeah.
Woo!
And it's funny because I used to hit that 100 shit, not going up.
Mm-hmm.
Because going up, you're going up towards the mountains. I mean, you're going up towards the Adirondacks and stuff up there. But it was coming back, dude. Mm-hmm. And I'd be like flying and not even realize I'm doing 100 miles an hour, and it felt like I was doing like 70
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or 80.
Mm-hmm. That's how I felt was. But then, somebody had to, I guess some drunk driver or somebody messed it up for the rest of the motors, and they put some speed bumps on the place. It's like, jeez.
Well, they started doing that. They started doing that on one of them. But it was the one that was not that wide. There are two major thoroughfares. There's 75, and then trying to remember what the name of it, but it's like Oak Creek Road or Oak Creek Boulevard. And that Oak Creek Boulevard is really just a highway cutting through the woods and shit. That one was always, you saw the car overturn. Like you would drive and you see a car like Duke of Hazzards on the side of the road. But it was a big one that you used to fly, and then they had the trucks that were flying, and when it was raining, you see all that water coming out.
Oh, yeah.
And, you're driving.
Tia's photo.
I can't drive 105. Is that a song?
Yeah, it was Sammy Hagar did this. He used to be one of the lead singers of Van Halen. He did this song, I Can't Drive 55. He's
the devil. Look.
What's
up? What's up, buddy?
Yeah. Look what the cat dragged in his hand.
Oh, God.
Says, Mr. Dumpster Baby, I don't get why the U.S. don't have autobahns like Germany. Most U.S. is flat and empty. Why not have straight roads with no speed
I thought we
limit?
locked the door.
I agree, Dumpster Baby. Autobahns needed.
I think we do have one. They call it Riverside Drive.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
Yeah.
The only difference why we don't have them is because people in America can't drive.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Well, we're
It's
talking
a lot
about...
harder to get a driver's license in Germany.
Yeah.
You don't just go get it like you got out of a cereal box.
Anyway, we're talking about driving. We're talking about how when I was up in New York and going towards one of my stores, which is about 2 hours up from Manhattan or from where I live, that I would hit areas up to 100 miles an hour and not even know it.
We live a long time. Anyway.
It's all about him.
Ant's back.
Ant's back. Here I'm talking. He's totally fucking ignoring me, and all he's
I'm
doing is showing his
Ant's
shirt.
over there doing stuff.
Anyway.
No, I'm listening. You said New York. Go ahead.
Do you expect anything less?
Thank you.
Irvin, you were in New York. Go ahead.
I didn't. No, I was more. I was not just in New York. I was talking about how when we drive, we're talking about driving,
Right.
Yeah.
and because you mentioned something about NASCAR.
Well, yeah, Formula One actually, because we were talking about this weekend is going to be the Memorial Day weekend, and every Memorial Day you have the Indy 500,
Right.
Indianapolis 500,
Right. Then I said something about my roommate's addicted to that shit, and although I like driving fast. And then we started talking about the moments that we were doing 100, 105.
Mm-hmm.
Derek did 105 miles an hour
On the
without
Magic
realizing
Pass.
it. And then I was doing the same thing. I would come home and it was always like, oh, I had to remember that I have to look at the gauge because I'm
Right.
probably doing 105. And guess what? I was doing 100.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's funny you say that because remember what that officer, that Captain Wolford, said to us at this Precinct 3 meeting.
Yeah.
Remember when I brought him about cops speeding and going too fast?
Yes.
When they're not in an emergency?
Yes.
Remember what he said? He said, well, a lot of times those cars are not going as fast as they look like they are going. He said, you can't calibrate with your eye.
Oh yeah, but when
He
you
says
hear it
until-
go,
But you're
He
looking
says
at
until,
wait,
he says until you have
you hear the
a
car
radar. Well, that's what I told him. I said, no, but I told him, I said, if
those
you're
suckers
going,
are loud.
I said, if you're going 65, 70 on the highway, and one of them shoots by you, and there's no lights on, and it's obviously not an emergency, they have no sirens or lights, they're obviously, my eye can calibrate that they're going a good 10,
I think
15,
they
20
people
more
in
than
Vegas
I'm
are fucking
going.
idiots.
I mean, that when he said that, I thought, well, you still know that the fucking guy's speeding if he's flying past you and you're going 70.
Well,
and he continues to gain on you as he goes. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that the guy's going at least
remember,
15,
don't
20
forget,
more than
you preface
Right,
the
right.
question. You preface the question. I would be doing like 70,
Right.
and that guy was flying right
Past.
by me.
And
So no
continue.
matter what,
Right.
you can't calibrate. The guy was going above 70 miles an hour because he was passing you.
Right.
And so his answer, if I would have heard it, because that's when my shit went down, I would have said, well, wait a minute, you already know Anthony's telling you that he's doing 70 miles an hour, so he's obviously doing way above that if he's flying by him.
Right. Exactly.
And that's
Right.
kind of how I would have corrected him.
But he also did say that we allow citizens to come in anytime they want. You can drive with us. We'll take you out there. We'll let you hold the radar gun, and we'll let you point the gun at cars and see how fast they're going. He did say that they actually do allow that they've done that before with other citizens, and that anytime we wanted to do that, they would let us do that. So
Hey, well,
maybe I'll
so-
take him up
how
on it.
about
Yeah,
we go
you
with
should.
a
See what the
ride
hell
along?
happens. Well, he offered that too.
Yeah, I
He
do ride
offered
along.
he offered ride-alongs. Yes, he
I'll
did.
even help.
Oh, yeah, I was offered ride-alongs. It was just that he wanted,
Freeze, motherfucker!
he wanted me to do the north.
He wanted you to do what? North
He
Macon?
wanted me to do the north. Don't do what you don't like me to do, Ed. Interrupt. He was in the north. All right?
Right.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Remember that.
Yeah, that's a
All right,
phrase.
so-
Remember that, Anthony.
Yeah, I know. I'm told that all the time. I think Three Bears told me that. I think Three Bears told me that on the chat yesterday.
What's he
What the
saying?
hell was up with that? I mean, I couldn't stick around. I had to go to Max's award ceremony.
Well, a lot of
But
people
I was
think
like-
you're ADD.
Well, no, what was up? It's like I couldn't believe everybody was defending Vorbelbite. I'm thinking, are they so just oblivious to the fact that what I was doing to him is the same thing he does to everybody else
Oh,
all day
yeah.
long on here? But yet they were defending him, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
And
Vorbelbite starts talking shit, and then I talk shit back, and Three Bears says something like, "Don't pick on Vorb." I'm like, what the hell?
Well, there was somebody that came on yesterday with your name or something. Who was that?
Oh, was there? Well, I must have
Something-
been gone at that point.
Oh, you got Ant's Vagina on here today.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Another one of your fans.
Okay. Well, I like it.
You must have been really good that night.
When you so we got Ant's vagina, Sarah's clit. What next? What next body part we got?
I
Oh,
know.
Shit,
Ma.
you know, was it Mahari Nutsack?
Oh yeah, my Harvey Netsack. Who's gonna do Mr. Anus or something?
My nuts itch.
Yeah. Mr. Anus.
Oh my
Feel your
God.
balls.
This show's gone to hell in a handbasket
Well,
already.
you know what? It goes to show you their mentality. If that, my nuts itch. Remember him?
That's right.
And
Or her.
yeah, I
Or
mean,
it.
I think they want to be funny, but pick a nice name.
It's-
I like Mr. Dumpster Baby.
I think the way they do these names is they want to hear you say it, like.
So they pick
you know,
something.
like,
Yeah.
my nuts itch.
Mhm.
Well, fucking scratch them.
Well, probably also some of them are probably teenagers, and they kind of have that
No, and some of
immaturity
them are
level.
probably people we know
Well, we know
that
that.
don't
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
us.
We know
No, you guys.
we know
They
there's
like me.
we know there's people that are local on there that act like they're not.
Right, right. Now, Aunt's vagina. What do you think?
Let me see if
I
got-
think
let me see if I got
it's
one.
it's okay.
No,
Nah.
See,
Yeah.
he
You
got-
have one of each. Do we have to remove one?
no, I'm not that MMA fighter.
yeah.
Fallon Fox, the transgender fighter.
No, we
right.
talk about the baby or whatever.
Oh, that too.
Remember
That one too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
I got local. You got that. That's what I was about to do. Was this graduation rate crap?
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Graduation rate.
Well,
Okay.
because they try to talk it up like it went up, but it only went up like 1 point.
Oh.
It still sucks in this city.
Well, yeah.
They try to act like it doesn't. So go ahead.
Whee! Okay, here we go. Graduation rate increases in 2012.
Yeah, sure.
State education officials say that Georgia's high school graduation rate has increased to 69.7% for the class of 2012.
Still an F.
Yeah. Or D.
You go. No,
Well,
now it's an F.
it's
With us,
an F.
it was a D.
Oh, below.
Remember,
below
65 up was a D for us, but now with my kids under a 70s failing.
Oh
There are
yeah,
no more
yeah, it's
Ds.
still F. Yeah.
Yeah.
Up from 67.4% the year before.
Right.
It's the second year that Georgia graduation rate has been calculated under a new federally mandated formula that makes it possible to compare states. It's still well below the 80% the state had under the old system.
Right.
State School Superintendent John Bard says Georgia is moving in the right direction, although the rate is still too far too low, and we have much progress to be made. Officials say the new formula takes better account of dropouts by dividing the number of graduates in a given year by the number of students enrolled 4 years earlier. 8 school systems posted graduation rates above 90%. Wow.
Okay, well, that story didn't even go into the detail. I got us off the radio and the TV this morning.
Okay.
Let me add what they didn't say.
Go ahead.
This is the 1% I'm talking about. It went up. For Bibb County went up in 2012 from 52.3% from 51.3 the year before.
Wow.
So it went up 1%, 51.3 to 52.3. And then the lowest in the state was Twiggs County, which is not far from here, Twiggs County, a little southeast from here. Twiggs County had the lowest rate at 45%.
Wow.
So
That's sad.
Exciting.
there's
You're not going national yet, right?
No.
You're still the same
we
level?
got a robbery of a bar I used to go to.
I got that right here.
CJ's?
Yeah.
That's it. There you go.
All right, making sports bar burglarized. Burglars hit CJ's.
Yeah.
Sports bar at 2910 Riverside Drive around 3:20 a.m. Tuesday, getting away with about $6,000 from cash registers and the ATM.
Which is ridiculous.
An officer responding to the burglar alarm found the back door pried open, according to Macon Police report. Officers were unable to watch the surveillance video because the burglars disabled it after 8 seconds.
Yep.
So they knew what they were doing.
So here's the first thing that hit my mind when I heard this morning is, I'm not going to tell you how to run your business, but why are you so stupid to leave that much money in your cash register overnight? Now, I understand the ATM you have no control over. The ATM is in there. You can't control that being emptied. But why are you leaving your own cash overnight in your business? There's a reason people always take the
And that's the
bags
first thing
to
I
the
thought when
bank,
I was
to
reading the
drop
story.
part, right?
Yeah.
There people always, with any business that has sense, you always at the end of the night take the bag to the drop box and you deposit the money. Why the hell are you going to leave money? And it's got to be a lot. It doesn't break it down. It doesn't say how much of that $6,000 came from the ATM and how much came from the actual cash register. But you got to figure it's a big chunk of money that came from the cash register.
Well, look, I mean, let's say I doubt that was that night's receipt money.
No, it was a combination of that and the ATM machine.
Right,
They said
that
they
and
got
the ATM, right.
also.
The ATM only
ATM.
usually has a couple of $1,000s in it.
So you figure $4,000 comes from the actual business.
That's right. That's very good because
Okay.
it's about 2,000, which is what a couple of those Pakistani owners have told me.
Right.
And based on the fact that I was going to tell them, would I be able to pull $1,000 out of this machine and not have a problem? Oh yeah, I have 2,000 in it.
Okay.
All right.
And that's at like a 7-Eleven.
Right. Well, that's right here.
Okay.
Anyway, so the fact that they left the money there, all right, is
Not
the
too
first
strict.
thing that one thinks about when this happened at 3:20 in the afternoon. It wasn't like they went in during the day.
Overnight.
Right, overnight
Okay.
at 3:20 a.m.
Yeah, I thought you said
in the morning, rather.
Right.
What did I say? Afternoon?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3:20 a.m. Well, it certainly was afternoon. It was.
It was way after.
way afternoon.
Way after.
And here's the thing: it probably was somebody who started going to that bar not too long ago. And
Scoped it
started,
out.
and starts to scope it out, go to the bathroom, check out where the cameras are, maybe even sitting there watching. It was a pretty good business,
Right.
a lot of business going on. I mean, $6,000 is a lot of money to leave overnight, don't you think?
Well, that's,
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Then
Exactly.
it makes me think this, which we've talked about with the X-Mart robberies. Is it an inside job? Did somebody steal it that works?
Where's your music?
Dun, dun, dun.
Is it somebody that
Dun,
knew
dun,
that there was a
dun.
lot in there, and they knew once they got in there where to disable the cameras within 8 seconds? 'Cause
Right.
They said they disabled the surveillance cameras immediately, right?
Right,
So-
8 seconds.
It was almost like riding a bull at the rodeo.
You know what I'm saying is 8 seconds. So that means he
Yeah.
knew exactly where to go.
Or she. Yeah.
I think
mean-
the she is the getaway car.
Yeah.
Just like it, the
Well,
plot
the
thickens.
think about it. I used to go to CJ's religiously to play trivia there every Tuesday night. Myself and a bunch of buddies used to go to trivia there.
Now I'm trying to remember. That's on Riverside.
Yes,
And it's near what?
it's kind of between a credit union and I'm trying to remember what's on the other side.
And the
It's-
big chicken.
It's kind of across from the overpass that goes over the highway to that neighborhood.
Oh, okay. To
You know
the
what I
north.
mean?
Really
Like
going north.
you're going north of Riverside, then you have one of those overpasses that
Right.
goes to your neighborhood.
It's kind of in there.
across from here. It's
I
to
got
the
it.
left
I
of
got
that.
it. Is it
overpass.
close to the back porch?
That way further down.
Further
It's
down.
further towards north.
Got it.
Towards Tom Hill Senior.
Well,
But yeah, I mean, what do you do? I mean, you don't have, and most likely they're not going to find fingerprints because if these people are smart enough to know where the surveillance camera is, I'm sure they wore gloves.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
well, we
what
got
do you do? What do you do?
Well, I do have something about, speaking of money.
Are
Oh,
we still on
and
local
this is
here?
in local,
Yes,
right?
local,
And then
yes.
I got another local.
Let's keep
He has
it
a
local.
Milledgeville woman, $50,000 richer after winning the lottery.
You go, go!
Yes,
Uh-huh.
Central Georgians have been winning big in the Georgia lottery because this is the 20th anniversary. 1993 is the 20th anniversary of the start of the Georgia lottery. A Milledgeville woman is $50,000 richer after winning a new game called Fire and Ice. Yes, Belinda Hill is a mother of 3 and grandmother of 10 and decided to get a ticket while she was getting gas at the Jet Food store on South Wayne Street in Milledgeville. Hill scratched a ticket while sitting in her car in her mother-in-law's driveway. She says, "I was blowing my horn like crazy. My husband was sitting on the porch. He couldn't believe it, and I couldn't either." Hill says she is buying land to move her mobile home. A winning ticket in Friday's Mega Millions drawing $10,000 was sold in Macon.
Well, good for her already.
Good.
At least she's doing something good with the money.
Yeah.
I'm glad she said she's buying land and didn't say something like, "I'm buying a new car that I won't afford the payments on." once
No,
my
well, I'm
money's
going to
gone.
give it all to
I'm
my
gonna do
grandchildren, please.
it." Because
lady.
usually
It's
that's what
good.
happens
Do
with lottery
you.
winners. They don't remain rich because they don't know how to handle the
Right.
money.
And it's
Yeah.
not
They
a lot
get
of
the worst
money in
stuff.
this.
No, but at least she's doing the right thing because she knows once she buys land, that land is hers no matter what
Right,
happens to
right.
the money.
Right.
Once the money's gone, she's got something to show
Yeah.
for it. That's
Exactly.
paid for.
They look like
Well,
a
in
nice
the meantime,
couple.
there's no one has yet to claim the ticket of the
The big one.
of the big and the
big
$590 million.
Did any of you guys play it? Did y'all play this?
You know, whenever I play a lotto ticket, and I've done it maybe, so help me God, I'm not kidding. I've probably only done it 5 times in my whole life.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I've never really. I always feel like I'm not gonna win.
Yeah, well, most times you're not.
Exactly.
I mean,
As
why
big as
waste
it is,
your
I
this
money?
is
So
more.
why take that dollar? I might as well take that dollar, wipe my rear end with it, and flush it
Or
down.
go
the
buy
toilet.
4 cigarettes with it.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
yeah.
kind of bad. Yeah, 'cause
I
It
get
says
the
there's
winning
more of a chance
prize
of getting-
right away.
it says like you have more of a chance of getting struck by lightning than actually
Right.
winning, especially
Yeah.
over half $500 million.
Exactly.
I've won little amounts here and there. I don't play a lot either, but occasionally I'll grab a scratch off, and I've won like $20 on a $1 ticket before. You know, I've won a few here and there, a little bit.
Well, yeah, Ed just the other day found 4 tickets.
And they were winners?
No, it was 4 or 5 tickets, he said. And then there was a guy that saw it at the same time. So Ed, being a gentleman, gave him
Half
2 of the tickets. No, not half. He gave him 2 of the 2 of the 6 or whatever it was. Or 2 of the 4. And Ed brings back the 2, and Ed gives me 1. And then he has 1. We both scratched it, and I won a ticket. And he won a ticket. But the guy over here gave us $2 instead of giving us like another ticket. He goes, "You want cash or the ticket? Just give me the cash." Yeah.
Usually they're not supposed to. Usually they're supposed to just give the ticket.
Well, he gave me the cash.
What store is that?
Right here.
I might have to go there if I ever play because I'd rather get the money back too than the ticket again.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's true.
that's cool.
That's really
But
cool.
a lot of times they say you gotta take the ticket if it's
Anyway,
a
so by the way, we bought 8 cigarettes with that.
One step
all right.
closer to cancer.
Yeah, did you read your story yet? Oh yeah. That was the.
We got a local. You got a local.
I got more local. And believe it or not, Macon.com, like the little whore that she is letting me go in there.
I love that metaphor.
Here we go.
Macon
Former.
can't be a whore.
All right, this is a former paraprofessional indicted and accused of molesting a special needs
Oh
student.
yeah, this is disgusting. I saw this on TV.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Alleged sex act.
Warning! Sexual nature in this story.
Yes. Alleged sex act. A former Howard High School paraprofessional is accused of committing against a special needs student occurred both on and off campus, according to Bibb County District Attorney's Office. Ronald Bernard Smith, 45 of Jeffersonville Road, is accused of fondling and kissing a male student at the school between September 7, 2009 and October 2011. According to the indictment filed in Bibb County Superior Court on May 7th, the alleged sexual contact occurred in the school bathroom, said Dorothy Hull, the Bibb County prosecutor. The indictment was charging Smith with 2 counts of sexual assault against a person in custody. He also alleges Smith sodomized the student between January 1st and January 31st, 2011. The sodomy occurred in Smith's home, he said. The student was 17 when the alleged sexual assault began and 20 when he told his mother about the incident. He has since graduated from school. Bibb County deputies investigated the case. Smith, who was assigned to work with special needs students, was arrested October 13, 2011, and has been on a $11,200 bond since December 30th, 2011, according to jail records. The school system placed Smith on paid administrative leave, and the day after his arrest, according to the letter of the system to Smith, who was hired system August 8, 2002, Smith was fired by the system December 7th. And then Smith's attorney did not return phone calls. So
actually, this happened a while back.
Yeah,
This
but he's finally been indicted. In other words, it was going back and forth. You know, you're on leave. We're going to investigate this, and finally, you're going to nail this guy, like he nailed that kid. You know, and you know what? They don't like sexual predators like this in jail.
Oh, I know.
But it also,
don't
believe
wanna
it or
be.
not, depends on the age of
You don't
the
want to
kid.
be. You don't want to be a rapist, and you don't want to be a child molester.
Look, guys in jail are not going to look at you as a pedophile if you banged a 17-year-old.
Look at you.
Look at the person.
Look at you. Look at you.
Yeah, look at you.
Look at you.
Oh, wait, I did say that, didn't he kind of looks like a black Jewish guy.
No.
No. Anyway.
Anyway,
I was just reading what.
Well,
Mr. Dumpster
let's
Baby-
read what the chatters have to say.
Right.
God, we forgot we have chatters, right?
yeah.
What is it? Yeah, Fat Vinny the Bullet says, my dad told me it was an inside job when I was conceived.
That's right.
But
Dumpster Baby says possibly an ex-employee. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Ex.
Edward Mampo, what's up? Antis Rich, he does not need lotto.
That's not true at all.
Used to be, yeah. they
I'm
remi-
about as broke. You're richer than I am, Edward. Guarantee that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's every
I'm
mama
rich
said
in
he
life,
should be
but-
shot and stop spending our tax dollars on what? What, Head and Shoulders? But I'm just.
Who's he talking about? The molester? I guess he's talking about the molester.
Oh,
he should
okay.
be shot and stopped. Yeah. Inmates who scumbags use child molestation and rape as an excuse to rape.
Oh.
Well,
Oh yeah, Mr. Dumpster Baby said.
yeah, why don't you read that?
Oh yeah, I give scratch cards as tips. In the UK, tips are already included in service, but I always buy cards for people. I gave a taxi driver and waitress cards that won 500 pounds and 100 pounds, and a bunch of cards that won a few pounds. Wow, scratch cards are easy tips. Well,
Just send me one in the mail, kid. Maybe I'll get lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you got to mail it back if you win for him to cash it for you over there in England.
Yeah, and then he can mail me back some
Yeah,
cash and he can
and then
keep
Delta
some of
Baby's
it.
gonna say, "Oh no, you didn't win, or and meanwhile you won like $4,000."
No, like 10,000.
and he doesn't tell you, and he keeps it.
I know.
No, or if you didn't win.
But that's messed up. Yeah,
And
five.
then, no, he wins the real big one, and then you see this big thing on the news about this guy in
Right.
Britain that won money. We have no clue it's
Yeah,
Dumpster Baby.
Charles,
Because
a.k.a. Mr. Dumpster Baby.
No, they would never say his name.
No,
is Dumpster
no, I
Baby,
would-
so you had no clue that it's him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he's sitting there holding
500 pounds.
He's sitting there
man.
holding
That's-
the check really big.
That's like about like $750,
Thanks, sir.
$800.
It's about $800.
Yeah.
See, I mean, look.
Pounds, yeah.
Look, that's another primary example. I hate the way the British do their freaking money thing. How do you get 500 pounds and it's 800 American dollar?
Well, they were doing their money before we were doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
weren't they doing it in coins now?
They were doing it before us.
I think they stole our
Well, it's called,
idea.
it's called the
Like they stole the
exchange.
car.
It's the
Exchange,
exchange. The exchange always changes. It fluctuates. I mean, you know that. Sometimes
Yeah, well-
it's good. Sometimes it's bad.
Yeah, it used to be like double the amount. Like 500 pounds used to be like 1,000 American dollars at one time. Then, you know, either they're.
Yeah,
the economy
your
got
money's
better or ours
worth
got
more.
Worse, vice versa.
Your money's worth more doesn't sound right. Because if it's 500 pounds and an 800, oh yeah, maybe you're right.
Tara London says, I give my sister a birthday shout out, the Big 50.
That's right. I wanted to say that.
Yeah,
Carol,
what's up?
Carol, happy birthday.
Carol,
All right.
That's why I was running a little late this morning. We had to wish her a happy birthday
All right, that's really good.
because Carol is now living with us.
That's
all live,
cool.
We all live together.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to give her the birthday wish. That's why I came a little late this
All
morning.
right. Congratulations to you.
And also congratulations to my daughter and my son Max for graduating. They're now home permanently for summer. Max yesterday won. He won the civilian. What was it? What's the award called, Heather? The correct word, citizenship award.
Mm-hmm.
Only one kid, only one boy and one girl per class wins it. It's a little pin and a certificate.
Probably because he's a good kid
And
and,
Max
they can
won it.
determine he's going to be a cool adult when he gets
Well,
older.
the teacher
One
always
of those
told
bratty
us.
kids running
The
around.
teacher told us throughout the year when we went to these parent-teacher conferences that Max was very helpful with all the other kids. He tried to help them, and he was always ready to learn, and he was always giving the answer for everything. So I kind of had a feeling he was going to get called up there to win that award, and
Yeah.
sure enough, he did. My Max,
And he
fan.
won some other award in a restaurant. What the
Yeah.
hell? Well, what is that called?
He was drawn. That was just drawing. That was random. That was at SNS cafeteria for the.
That was
Easter
like a
basket.
lotto ticket.
Yeah. Maybe I do have to get Max to go buy a lotto ticket. Here you go, Max.
Yeah,
Give
that's
him
a good
$1. Go
idea.
pick one.
I know. I
They wouldn't
know.
sell it to him. He's like, "Oh, you're underage. You get out of my store. You can't buy ticket." That was a horrible accent. For,
No.
Hurry up and
Patel.
buy. Anyway.
Yeah, hurry up and buy. Get your Slurpee and get the hell out of here.
Imagine if he wins and he turns on you like Macaulay Culkin did on his parents.
I love it.
Uh,
Anyway, and my daughter Elizabeth, she also got a couple awards at her ceremony, so congratulations to her too. So we are proud of our kids, and now they're home until they go back to school already in the beginning of August. What the hell is up with that? We used to have like a 4-month summer.
It was
vacation.
September.
I mean, hell, this is already June. They go back Augast 1st or so.
Well, we'll
I
be
mean,
at
what
least the
the
next
hell?
week.
When did
What's
the
that?
August start? That's
No, but
it,
we
part
used
of
to-
the summer.
Well,
We used to
Yeah,
go
late.
back in September.
September
Yeah.
8th.
Late or even
In New
middle
York, it was
September.
September 8th. I mean, when I grew up.
It's like ridiculous.
By the way, Fat Vinny the Bully says, I won a big Dummy Lamont Award. Ironically, Red Fox presented it.
Wow, what was that for?
Yeah, what is
I
a
think
Dummy Lamont
He's
Award?
kidding. Lamont was
Lamont
Sanford's
Sanford.
son.
You big dummy.
Yeah, he's kidding. But I was going to play along and go, what was that for? When did you win that? I was going to play along. With
Yeah, it's too hot in August. I agree, Fat Vinny. I mean, not only that, isn't that half your summer? It's supposed to be summer vacation, not spring summer vacation or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
These kids are already confused.
So did y'all ever have anybody come in yesterday after I left?
David
Yeah,
Kuzno
Kuzno.
showed
Oh,
up
cool.
at the
Last
last,
hour.
Cool.
I guess the last half an
So
hour.
how is Kuzno's publicity going with his campaign?
Pretty good. He bought, he said, I got 50 signs out there. And, he says, I got brand new ones, right?
Right.
So I'm thinking, okay, they look completely different. They didn't look completely different. They look like the same sign except he added or DC.
Jeez.
Anyway, no, but he
Good
looked
morning,
good.
coffee guys. So we have
Coffee
another
guy.
family affair. Ed's Earl's brother on here, and well as Andrew.
Coffee guy, yes.
Get your sister on here. Your sister needs to get on the
Yeah,
show.
we gotta get
Yeah.
Rosie on
You know,
here.
she's a hairdresser. It's kind of hard to be online and then do someone's hair and
She be like that.
And I hope Ed will record that. That'll be another one he can add music to. Anyway,
But so, and also, I want to say this. I should have called you, Irvin, but I was running late. But yeah, I should have told you I couldn't make city council meeting yesterday. There's no way I could do it. City
right? No,
council-
that's
because
fine.
my rehearsals started yesterday for Hairspray, and that was at 7. So for me to get you, go there for 30 minutes,
Rant and
drive
rave.
drive you back here, and try to get to the theater was not
Yeah,
going to be possible.
is it?
So
But you know what? They
That's
probably
right.
missed us.
yeah, I'm sure they did. They probably knew that it's not going to be as fun now that those two didn't show up.
Yeah.
Well, they still had our old prophet lady there, I'm sure.
Oh, she's wonderful.
She'll be there all the time.
Yeah, the prophet lady. Unbelievable.
The prophet lady.
The prophet lady is a woman who goes up and
Every city
never
council. And it's her right
misses
to
a
do it.
freaking meeting ever.
It's her right to do it.
And she goes up there and she reads scripture and she tells them off a little bit and she
Yeah.
moves on.
She says her name, and she does a shout out to Shirley Caesar, who she calls her mother. She says every time she starts, she goes, "My mother, Shirley Caesar,"
Yeah.
and then she goes on with some scripture. But that's what it's there for. It's for the civilians to speak. More should take advantage of it.
What about the other one that comes on and she's dressed always well dressed? She gets up there and she starts like ranting and going, well, you know what you know who I'm talking about. The one with the
glasses. Yeah. I don't remember her name, but.
Let's see. I do have another.
And then what about that guy that goes up there with a wife beater on? You ever see that guy? He's
Yeah.
got like the camouflage
Yeah.
pants on, the wife
Yeah,
beater, and
yeah.
he's
Yeah.
like looking back at the cops and calling them names and shit.
Yeah.
That guy's.
And what about-
that guy's crazy?
What about the
Yeah.
guy with the Malcolm X hat? I'm serious. Yeah, he goes up there, he looks like he's going to start ranting like Malcolm X.
Yeah, Malcolm X.
Yeah.
Just had a birthday also.
Yes. Yes.
Malcolm X.
Yeah.
Speaking of that,
Yeah.
I love it. Oh, Derek, you would love this, and I know you didn't see it because you don't have it. Oh, this is a great segue. 2 nights ago, we watched, and I wasn't here yesterday to really talk about it, but Heather, we got the DVR going now. We now have a TV. We now have cable back on after being away from it for like 4 months, 5 months. But anyway, she DVR'd the 2013 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
Ooh.
So we watched it, and I'm glad they edited it together because I didn't want to sit there and watch everybody speak forever. So they kind of cut it together into like
Right,
a 3-hour show.
Right.
And just kinda
This is
went-
on DVR? Where is it?
Well, DVR off. It was on Showtime.
Okay.
But we DVRs means that you kind of record it
Right.
off of it, but you don't need a system other than what you
man?
get. But whoa, look at us going at it.
Jeez Louise,
That was
man.
Derek and I back spring break 2015, right?
Oh.
That was when we were at spring break 2015.
Yes.
Actually, my boobs are about that.
You guys
big.
look like you're having fun.
Yeah, we
You
are.
guys do look like a couple.
Because, Derek is my B.
Ew.
Now you need to switch heads and put my head where Derek's body is and Derek's head where my body is.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But
Anyway.
his is as big as yours.
That's true.
Gee,
No,
man, thanks a lot.
what
I'm gonna have trouble sleeping tonight, man. See that vision.
What I like is Ed is now proportioning the heads well.
That's right.
So
Ed's now using physics.
yeah,
And geometry.
and I'm serious.
I'm making good
It
Ed.
looks so much better.
He's
all right.
making good edits.
All right, so finish your story.
So anyway, well, it was just cool because, we already talked on this show way back about when they were going to choose who was inducted. And we remember we made our guesses way back when we were at Roasted doing
Right.
that stuff. So, but it reminds me, the connection is that when Public Enemy came up there and they performed, I was so glad they did it this way too, because the order they put it in was perfect. Because they put all the boring shit early. All the
Good.
people I don't like. It was like...
Right, like
it was-
Shania
well, it was
Twain
like
and-
the very beginning was Randy Newman,
Oh.
boring ass. I like maybe 2 Randy Newman songs.
Yeah, from Toy Story.
Okay,
Guy.
so
Yeah.
Randy Newman was up there first, which get him out of the way.
Uh-huh.
Then they went into this guy Lou Adler, who was a producer, who's produced a lot of good stuff. But when they were talking about him, they were talking a lot about Carole King, and to me, Carole King bores the hell out of me. You
Yeah.
know, she's a good songwriter, but
Yeah.
her music is boring as shit. Her and James Taylor are like
Is
equivalent.
that the?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
boring.
It's killing
So-
you softly.
Friend.
So then they went.
Ugh.
So then they went into this Lou Adler guy who did a lot of stuff with Carole King.
Yeah.
She performed. So they were kind of handling to me the like boring calm ones early,
Right.
and then they started getting to the good ones like Heart,
Mm-hmm.
and then Public Enemy, and then they ended with Rush, of course. So that was the ones I liked. But it was cool because they all performed. If they were performers, they would go up there, they would be inducted, and then they would they would give their speech, and then they would go over to the side and perform a song or two. And and so Public Enemy was really cool, but it was funny because you could tell. I told Heather this. You could tell that Professor Griff, who was kicked out of the group a while back for comments he made about Jews, if y'all remember. But then he was back there to accept the award with his group. But you could tell Professor Griff, and I knew this from the past, and it still shows, that he was never too pleased with Flavor Flav. You can always kind of tell that he looked at Flavor
How the hell they
Flav.
come up with these fucking names?
Well, that's just a rap name. But you could tell that Griff's kind of the guy who takes his blackness serious.
Oh, you're talking about the one that used to be in that. In the
S1W.
He was the S1W leader.
Yeah, because there was
just
Dre,
kinda stood
there
on-
was Dre, there was
No,
Flavor.
you're NWA. You're mixing groups.
Yeah,
Dre's NWA. No,
and Dre's
no, you
NWA.
had Chuck D, Flavor Flav, Terminator X was the DJ.
Yeah, but I saw Dre with Flay in.
No, but you're
On
mixing
the
the shit
day
up.
of May.
And then you had Professor
Well,
Griff.
and he's
And then
gay.
you had 4
he was
S1W
gay.
soldiers that are always there in their fatigues. Okay.
Yeah.
But when they performed, they actually had also a second DJ. There was 2 DJs. There was Terminator X and another one spinning while they were performing. There were 2. I don't know who the other one was. My point is that
Yes, please.
My point is that Professor Griff, he's up there with his militant outfit on. He's looking hard. His face is all, like he always
Taking
was.
his blackness
Because
very
he's a
seriously.
hard Islam.
Who I was acted in the movie Chip Factor.
Right.
If you ever check it
Yeah,
out.
that's right. He was in Chip Factor with Derek.
Yes.
So anyway, my point is that he's up there, and they show each of them speak. They give their speech. Well, Flavor Flav gets to the mic, and you look behind him, and standing behind him is Professor Griff, and his face is just like. And Flavor Flav's all,
Yeah.
he's doing all the laughing.
Son of
This
a
girl,
bitch.
he's like,
I love that
with a
guy.
gold-
Straight
I think
up.
he's funny. Well, that's why
I think he's funny as hell.
Well, that's why I love Public Enemy. They're one of my favorite rap groups of all time, is because they had it down. Because they symbolize what I ran about on here. They symbolize the bipolar. That's what they symbolize. They do. Chuck D
Okay.
is the
They're the
serious,
serious one.
intelligent guy. Chuck D's the clown. I mean, Flavor Flav's the clown. the silly one, the crazy one.
And Flavor Flav
That's
really
exactly-
controls it. That guy is about a wacky
Well, he's the
thing.
hype man.
Yeah.
So my point is that's what made them so brilliant. Besides the lyrics were brilliant, and they were very well written lyrics, and the music. That's why I think they're one of the best rap groups of all time.
Oh yes.
So, but my point is that Professor Griff looks very pissed and irate with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's standing back there, and Flav's acting the fool, and everybody else in the band is looking at Flav like the other
Like, that's a
S1Ws are back there
retard.
going. I'm like, man, this guy's just making us look like jigaboos. He's
Yeah.
making us look
Sambos.
like the Sambo. And you could tell, and Chuck D, of course, was laughing.
Okay.
Chuck D was showing some
Yeah.
humor. He was smiling.
But it's very rare to do.
But everybody else in the band was like, and then you see before Flavor Flav's even finished speaking, you see Professor Griff walk off behind him. He starts walking stage left, like the hell with this shit. I'm walking off. But Professor Griff actually got to speak. They actually let him speak too.
Right.
It was like he spoke, but anyway, it was pretty good. Then they went and performed, and they did. I'm trying to do an order. They did Fight the Power, but they did before Fight the Power.
Fight the Power.
Before Fight the Power, they did.
Rebel Without a Pause.
No, and it wasn't
Bring the
911's a joke. Bring the Noise. Thank you. They did Bring the Noise without Anthrax.
Yes.
But
Please, hello, can you
They
go
did
death row? What a brother, no.
Once
Once again, back in the incredible, private of the incredible, People Academy #1, 5 said freezing, and now a gun. Detail that it never had a gun when it wanted to win the next one. Because the record ain't sell, and the brothers ain't bell, and the brother like me said, well, fair, because the prophet ain't think you ought to listen to. What he can say to you? What do you all do? Power now! Power to people say, I'm the lyrical, here I'm the lyrical, black is back, all that, we're gonna win, check it out. Yeah, yo, come on, here we go again.
You know, that's amazing. I forget that he's a black guy.
See?
Oh, by
Thank you,
yeah.
Don Pardo.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Oh, by
Thank
the way,
you. Yeah, me and
because-
Wayne Ray to get that all the time.
let's read what the chatters have to say. Why did Flavor Flav wear the massive clock around his neck? Doesn't he know that he can buy a wristwatch?
I'll tell you why, because he was representing. Do you know what time it is?
Do you know what time
That's
it is?
what it is. And let me say that he said that on the award show too. He was wearing that clock, and it was his original clock. And after his speech, he said, this clock here, he goes, I'm going to no longer wear this clock. He said, now I'm going to get a new clock to wear. He says, but this one right here, he's donating to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Wow.
So he was going to give his original clock
All right.
to the
I
Hall
think
of
that's
Fame
great.
and then put on some other big ass.
Because I don't care what anyone says. That kid, Flavor Flav, I mean, he became for a while,
Well,
he was like a
made
superstar.
He made the group equal.
Yeah, I know, but he was like a
You-
superstar. He
you
was
needed
on the
him.
news.
You
He
needed
was-
him. You
He was
needed him.
everywhere.
But you could tell. You
I'm
could
like-
tell. Well, you could tell that he wasn't. By what he said, you could tell that there were some people in the group that didn't want him when they first started that group.
Oh, yeah.
Because he looked over at Chuck D because Chuck D spoke 1st, and I'm sorry, I think Professor Griff spoke first. The way they edited it, they had Professor Griff speak, then Chuck D, and then Flavor Flav, and then they cut back to more footage of Chuck D speaking. But Flavor Flav said, he looked at Chuck D and he said, I want to thank Chuck, my man, for allowing me to join this group.
Flavor Flav said that?
Almost like he was the one that talked the guys, letting him join, because everybody else was probably like, hell no, we don't want
Or
this
maybe,
fool.
no.
You know what I mean? No,
Or
that's
maybe
the way.
back,
Really?
wait a minute. Wait a minute. Maybe it was backwards. Maybe he didn't want him. And
No,
then the
exactly.
other guys convinced him, and he's giving him the props because he allowed me to come on
No.
the group.
No.
You never,
But
you never know.
I don't think it was that way, because Chuck D, like I said, by the way the reaction of the people were, the other members,
Right.
Chuck D was the only one that kind of showed him some kind of love.
Okay, and laughed at him and
And
stuff.
smiled at what he
Right.
said. The other guys, I'm serious, the S1Ws all were back there looking hard. Professor Griff was looking at him like rolling his eyes, like, you know, why is this fool talking?
Yeah, I know.
Why is this? He's
Yeah.
sitting us back 30 years. He had
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
My dad had that same look whenever he saw
Yeah.
Jimmy walk on
But
Good Times.
I'm serious,
Yeah.
but he made that group.
I had no mind.
He made that group in some way.
Why do people always got to
No
make us look like
no
a
matter
damn
what,
clown?
you
Go
will
sit us
never
back 50
forget
damn
that
years.
group.
Well, they both made that
Some of-
group. That's why you needed the
Damn
50-50.
JJ.
You needed Chuck D to be the
He did
serious
used to look-
guy.
well,
and-
not
What you
you.
talking about, Willis?
Well, you know what else it was? It was like, and they referenced this in one of their albums. It was like Batman and the Joker too.
Right.
It was like Chuck D was Batman, Flavor Flav was the Joker.
The Joker.
That's exactly what it is.
All right,
you
well,
didn't have no problem.
let's hear what the chatters have to say.
Yeah.
PE was the best group of all time.
They're definitely the best rap group in my
Just
opinion.
rap group, yeah. That's my favorite.
My
Definitely.
brother says, which is a chemical imbalance. I guess he's talking about the kid. For sure, PE was the best. And then Southpaw says something. And then
Along
Jew
with
says, who
Eric
gives
B.
a
Rakim.
shit about Griff? His role is pointless.
Jews, I'm glad you bring that up because I mean a lot of people thought that, and it was funny when they performed. And now I saw Public Enemy live way back in the early '90s. I have seen them live, so I know from experience. But on this show, it was funny when they performed. They gave Professor Griff a microphone. He was back there doing the hype stuff too, like Flavor Flav was.
Right.
You know, he was back there throwing like emphasis on certain words. You know, just not singing the whole thing and then
They had to give him something to do.
You know.
By the
But
way,
thing about
Coffee
it-
Guy, your brother says Flav is the only one anybody has heard from, though,
Yeah,
lately.
because he got in trouble in all those reality shows he was on.
Yeah. And he's getting in trouble with all those kids he's got,
Yeah.
and then not paying the support. Remember, he's got like 12 kids.
12? I thought he
He's
had
got-
8.
No, I don't know. He's got a bunch. He's got a bunch. But you're right, Jews. You know, Griff was really nothing more than I think a friend that they got to put in the group and act like, hey, you're going to be head of our security. You know, our first world security, so to speak.
Here's a very interesting observation. Mr. Dumpster Baby. Comedians and musicians did more for Black rights than the likes of Malcolm X and the Panthers. Blacks have done so much for culture. Violence, aggression, and uncompromising to forgive only burns bridges. Sometimes the clowns are the real heroes.
You're right, and you know
That's
what?
wonderful.
And well, you know who always does that in his plays? Shakespeare.
Yes.
That's
Like
an old,
Polonius in Hamlet.
That's
and
an old
Flavor Flav.
Well, that's an old
in some weird way.
Shakespearean. That's a Shakespearean theme. Whenever his plays has a clown, a Jew, a jester in it, the clown everyone laughs at in the play, but the clown's the only one that knows what the hell's going on in the whole story. Everybody else is lost about who's screwing who's conniving against who's stabbing who in the back. But the clown knows, and then when the clown tries to talk about it, everybody just goes, the clown doesn't know shit.
Well, believe it or
Yeah.
not,
That's true.
a friend of mine, Tom Scribbins.
See, I'm the clown.
Tom Scribbins. Well,
Clown's
you
gotta
can't.
be
You
funny.
can be.
And I just,
Hey, I wore the pink
I'm a clown,
jacket.
too.
I wore the pink jacket at the Rickard cherry blossom thing. I'm the clown, right?
Well,
but
I know
Edward
what-
Mumford said so was John Wayne
Well,
Gates.
what-
He was a clown.
just hold on a
Let's
second
do it.
before I forget my thought here,
Yeah,
please.
no, wait, I got something to say here, okay? No, I'm not trying to rude Anthony, but take your hands off your ears because yesterday we had a great show because you weren't here interrupting everybody.
But who was
and doing
great?
all the talking, man.
Who was great? I know I talk a lot, but who was great?
Just let other people talk. That's all.
I
man.
tried
We're all
to.
here to do a show.
I tried.
Okay, it's okay. It's
I
okay.
tried,
Yes,
There's no
I tried
big
to, but the thing about it is I have to catch up on what I didn't say yesterday. Like
Well,
the
you still
like
gotta
the
let
show.
other people talk.
Oh, I am.
Yeah, you
Okay,
forget
what the
they
hell is
got
my
to say.
point?
Well, you got to interrupt.
You was
It's like at a bar. Remember, the show is like
I was
friends
trying
at a
to, but
bar.
it's hard to
We gotta
do.
be organized, and we gotta organize
Alright,
this shit.
what
Or
you
we
got
ain't
saying?
going nowhere.
Go.
Okay, what was the last point you made?
I was
It
saying
would
the
be like
clown
next
knows
morning.
everything.
Okay.
In Shakespeare, the clown knows.
like Polonius in Hamlet, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, one example.
Okay, well, I and a friend of mine, his name is Tom Scribbins. You know, his son
Yeah.
was the one that we played the music. Danny, remember Danny
Yes,
Scribbins?
I do.
Okay, and his father and I were talking about him writing a show that was kind of like that, where I, little me, was the only one that was like really normal, and everybody around me was coming to me with their problems, which in fact was happening up in Lilburn. I would get phone calls from everybody, like, what do I do here? Or, what's going on? And it was like the funniest shit. Here they're asking the guy with the biggest problem, and they're bringing their problems to me. And I thought it's kind of like the clown running the show.
Right.
What do you think of that idea?
Well, I mean that falls into what we're talking
And
about.
and the name of the show is going to be Jumbo.
Jumbo. Morning, Rocco.
Morning, Rocker. Morning, Coffee Guy. Yeah. Speaking of Sean Connery, I did watch the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade couple of days ago. It was kind of funny to see Sean Connery playing Harrison Ford.
That wasn't your first time seeing it, was it?
No, it wasn't the first time, but it was just kind of fun
like
to
you
see.
just saw it.
It was just really fun just to see him playing like Harrison Ford. Can you imagine him being Harrison Ford's dad? That would be a treat right there. I mean,
and in that movie, River Phoenix was him as a young man.
Yeah.
Right. That River Phoenix was the one who killed himself, right?
No, he didn't kill himself.
He had an
He
OD.
died from an overdose.
At the Viper Room, yeah.
On Sunset Boulevard.
Well,
On
he killed
Halloween,
himself.
October 31st, 1993.
In a way.
Which was in a way,
David,
it's kind of scary.
Unintentional.
It was kind of scary because I was actually filming my last student film, Manish Boys, that same weekend because it was during the Georgia-Florida game because there weren't that many people that weekend. I was just filming it, and that was basically my drama thesis. I had to make, an A in that class in order to graduate, and luckily I did. So,
Wow.
yes.
Anyway,
but it was cool.
It was a tape.
The award.
Okay.
The award was
I'm
cool.
warning you, Anthony.
The award is cool. Hey, you guys don't have to worry about me. I might not be here much longer. So.
why?
Well, you got cancer?
We got to talk about that after the show.
Okay.
I got this duct tape here.
No, you might have to find a replacement because I can talk about it now.
Oh, I'm not trying to hurt you.
Yeah,
No,
talk about it
no,
now.
it has nothing to do with that. It's funny that
Don't
you
take
brought
it
that up.
personally.
No, I don't take it personally. It has nothing to do with that, Ed. It really
You
doesn't.
you
It
applied
really
for that
doesn't.
naked
Wait a
TV
minute, let him
job?
finish.
No, it doesn't do with that. It has to
Okay.
do, but it does have to do. It does have to do with the
With the
job.
play?
No, Heather probably might have a job in the next week or two.
That's
And
great.
if she does,
You gotta watch the kids.
and I'm not gonna have the car,
Mr. Mom.
and I'm not gonna have the car.
I thought you got that
So-
job with MPD that I
No.
sent you.
So, but I was gonna talk about that with you guys after the show.
Did y'all imagine Anthony being a Macon City cop?
No, hell no. You're not gonna find me doing that. But we got to talk about that.
You only
got
got-
the
but you're only gonna be a,
sidewalks.
but
It
you're only gonna be a
doesn't-
guest for like 8 months.
It doesn't mean that I won't be able to come occasionally, on the day and she doesn't have the job yet, but she's got a good chance of having this job.
Okay.
So we have to figure something out. I was going to say something about moving it to night times, but we can't do that because I've got rehearsal. So,
I mean, when
Well,
the
but
play's
that's
over,
only
Let's do the show
temporary.
from your place.
and I'm not gonna hold it
Let's
up
do
to
the
you
show
guys.
from your
anyway.
place.
Yeah, but how the hell do you guys get there?
But the thing
Every
is-
morning?
Derek.
I mean, in his gas situation.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'll just.
Well, I would cover his
We'll
gap.
talk about it later.
Well, okay.
Well, I mean, no, if you want to talk about
Well,
it.
I just want to say, well,
I don't wanna bore the
maybe
chatter.
we should. Well, I was thinking about what Ed was talking about a few. Maybe we should move it to nighttime. Get more
Yeah,
people.
we were talking about that.
Okay.
Yeah, at nighttime we'll get more viewers.
Well,
Yeah.
we could do that, and
We'll probably lose a lot of these people though.
Well, I
That's the
know
sad part
because
of it, yeah.
I mean, some people like Saibuki's time period is different over there, and the nighttime
'Cause they're five- yeah,
could-
'cause they're
could
5 hours
completely
ahead, yeah.
screw him up.
Right.
But I
right.
mean, we'll talk about it. I don't want to mess up a good thing. If you guys got to keep going this way, that's fine, and I'll still show up.
Yeah, but
occasionally,
showing up,
but-
doing a good thing is having you on the show.
I mean,
if
you
you
can
know.
find some replacements off and on too, but I mean, what can you do? You gotta make money, right? And
Yep.
if Heather's got to work.
No, I
She's got to work.
gotta
I
have
mean,
somebody I can do Photoshop pictures of.
well, you can still Photoshop me. Go, feel free. I'll be honored.
Wow.
Put my head on
Could
it.
you
I think
believe-
that one was my best work yet though.
But we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, let's talk
Sorry,
about it later.
Derek, I
It's
had
already
to put you in
depressing.
Or
I
maybe move the show to the midday.
Right.
So it
Well,
doesn't do
what
night
we
or
could do
morning.
is
Maybe
work
start
it
the
out
show
to
at like
your
maybe
schedule.
start the show at like 4 in the afternoon,
The lunchtime roast.
and then do it before I go to rehearsal, or 3 in the afternoon. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. But Heather might work in a couple of places. She's put an application in at Fresh Market. She might work there,
Okay.
and then of course the Lemongrass is open.
Okay.
They still want her over at Lemongrass.
Really?
Yeah. So we'll see.
Can
We'll
you believe
see.
it's 9:03?
And see, the kids are now home. Their last day of school was yesterday, so.
Oh, that's good.
And I don't have a problem bringing the kids here with us occasionally to sit in the corner off
Why
camera.
not?
But not every. I'm not going to do that every morning because I have to wake them up, get them out of bed. They can't sleep in, and that's not fair to them.
Yeah.
It's not fair to them to be like, "Come on, kids, get dressed. We got to head over to
Yeah.
I mean, nobody wants to do that shit.
And you
And let's
said
let's face it. We're not getting paid for this. This is fun to do, and it's a great time. And it's I was about to say lethargic. I didn't mean lethargic, but it's the other word that ends in jick. Therapeutic, not lethargic.
Yes.
It's therapeutic, but I mean, if
yes, you'll go back to being your bitchy self, I believe, if you
no, I would still take part on the show. I would just be a chatter.
Right.
I mean, if y'all kept it in the morning, I would
Because
just be
says
a
call
chat.
it the midnight roast.
But we'll talk about it later.
Okay. It's only
We'll
going.
talk
It's
about
9:04 a.m.
Yes.
Eastern Daylight Savings Time. I guess it is time for a break. You're watching
Yep.
the Morning Roast live from the Nut House.
Give him that flu
For
bite.
Coffee Guy, yes. Bish, how low can you go? Death row, what's a brother? Once again, back in the incredible, but I'm animal, the public enemy #1. 506 free, and I got no. You like that, Coffee
Put
Guy?
us on break.
We'll be right back.
All right, I want to preface this
Yes,
right here.
do
This
it.
video I'm going
That was
to
good,
play.
Derek.
Okay.
Yes.
The guy, he was a friend of my brother and my sister's.
Uh-huh.
Okay, you know, he's like 7 years older than me.
Right.
Okay, he gets special requests to play with the Allman Brothers. He plays bass.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Right.
every once in a while he'll go and
Join him on tour.
yeah, his last was March at the Beacon Theater in New York,
Uh-huh.
and I'm going to play the video
Okay.
of him playing bass with the Allman Brothers Band. If you
Cool.
don't live in Macon, you know who they are.
No.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
even if you don't live in Macon, you should know who they are.
Exactly.
What they did to my baby was terrible. What that boy did to my baby. I thought the gun was fake. You know, I didn't think that the gun was real. A boy approached me and told me he wanted my money, and I told him I didn't have any money, you know, and he said, "Give me your money or I'm gonna kill you, and I'm gonna shoot your baby and kill your baby." And I said, "I don't have any money, and don't kill my baby." And he tried to grab my purse, and I tried to tell him I don't have any money, and then he shoved me and he shot me in the ear. It grazed my head back here, and then he shot me in the leg, and I didn't feel it. It got numb. I thought it was just a BB gun because it was a small gun, and then all of a sudden he walked over and he shot my baby right in the face. And he must have died
This is the
instantly
story we did
because
about
I
2 months
screamed
ago.
for help, and
This
a
is the
neighbor
story we
called
did about 2 or
police,
3 months
and
ago. Remember?
he
Where the
ran
guy
off. He
shoots
got
the baby,
scared that I
kills the baby.
screamed,
Yeah, but
and
we didn't have a video.
I wheeled my baby really quick to
This
a
is- the
safe
video
place
just came out.
inside the gate of the Blue House on Ella Street.
'Cause she
And then you know, I took him out of the harness and I tried to perform CPR, but I saw his lungs inflating, but he was not breathing, and there was no pulse. And by the time the EMTs got there, the police, they tried to do CPR also, and we lost it. They were very wrong, and I hope that they get the maximum sentence if they're caught. If they can commit an adult crime, I mean, even the police can't even go to training without being 21 years of age. So if they can use a gun like an adult, then they can be charged like an adult. I want to see lethal injection, or at least, you know, life in prison. You know, because I mean, this child did nothing to him. He was innocent and helpless.
doesn't work for us part time. He usually comes in after he gets around when we're leaving and works the night shift. And when I have reason to believe he's up to something, we're gonna film him and then we're gonna see what happens. See you, dude. Have a good night. You too. Later.
He's at work watching porn.
Wiping his hands off now.
You're fine.
I'm just emailing you this video, and I want you to take a look at it. Okay.
What's the feeling thing?
Dude, that's disgusting! What the fuck is your problem? What the fuck? Who'd you fucking send that to? Who'd you fucking send that to?
That's funny.
All right.
Wow.
Lesson to be learned. Don't get caught jacking off at work and make sure you ain't in front of the camera.
Well, that's what I gotta say. People nowadays, you gotta know that there's cameras everywhere.
Yes.
You know, I mean,
Exactly.
if you don't want to be seen doing something, don't do it.
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely. And he was upset.
Yeah, well,
He
If
didn't
was
want to do it.
I bet he was more embarrassed than anything.
Edward said that the gamer girl might not be coming, but I think that guy in the video was.
Ooh.
Oh, by the way, I had I hired a young security guy that
For what?
well,
For
you know,
you.
check this out. Let me finish.
Uh-huh.
I hired this young security guy, and I was working in the hotel, and I said, "Hey, Mike, can you do me a favor? Go check the roof because I know there's always guys like hiding out up there, and just let me know who's up there." So he goes up there, and next thing you know, he comes back down. He goes, "You're not gonna believe what I just discovered." He said, whatever that guy's name was, I can't remember right now, but he was a maintenance guy. He was part of housekeeping.
Schneider.
Jerking off, watching porn.
Where
up
was
there.
this?
This was at the Alex Hotel.
Okay. In
Okay.
New York.
Yeah, this is the guy that used to own Studio 54, the partner that lived.
Not
That
Steve,
was his
not
hotel.
Steve Rebel, but
Yeah,
the other one.
the other one.
Yeah.
Whatever. He owned a couple of hotels,
Right.
and this was his brand new one. And I was the direct. Yeah, I was a night manager, so I was the guy in charge at night.
Right.
And so I hired this kid who was, his father was in our church. And his father, by the way, was the cousin of the guy that Al Pacino played in On Dog Day Afternoon. That guy that robbed the bank
Right.
was this kid's father's cousin.
Uh-huh.
Now,
Wow.
That is
yeah.
small world.
Well, I got something to add too because you all
Yeah.
know this guy. When Chunky Bohowie was staying with me, I was letting him use my computer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been working on computers for 35 years now, so. But anytime you go to a website, any picture your computer sees, it saves it. It stays on there. I've had to fire people for
Right.
work, and mostly third shift people.
Right.
No, they weren't masturbating. I mean, they were just surfing, the porn sites and everything. Anyways, Howie was surfing the porn sites on my computer. I couldn't figure out why I was kept getting viruses. He was using it while I didn't know he was using it.
Well, let me ask you a question on this video that we just saw.
I never seen him with a girlfriend. I always seen him with girls,
Right.
but not with a girlfriend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question
Yeah.
on this video.
But wait, I'm just kidding.
Did when the guy came over to the guy that was opening up the email,
Yeah.
did he call himself over, or did the guy call him over? Because
No,
why
no,
did the guy say?
he said, I'm sending you a video. Check it out.
That was his boss.
And then he scooted his chair over there to watch it with him.
Yeah, his
I-
boss saw
Right.
that on camera. You know, he looks at the videos next morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, he watches his employees.
But I don't know if it was his boss because
He
he looked like he was more of a coworker. Yeah, because he didn't treat him like his boss.
Yeah.
He treated him
Right.
like an equal.
I
He's
read,
like, what the fuck you
I gotta
doing?
find it again, but what I read it was that he got caught by his manager or
Right.
supervisor or something like that.
So what happened?
No,
You
a
got
small
fired?
office group, you know.
Oh.
Yeah, somebody had to be in control of that camera.
Yeah.
No, it was not. It was my.
It was just
surveillance
it was a basic camera in the
Just a
workplace.
surveillance camera. Was set
And
up.
obviously it was some kind of laid back job where all of them just worked on the computer all day.
'Cause they had
Oh,
to be.
you know
It
what?
was either tech support.
But how
or
did they
something.
record the video? Is what I'm saying.
It was the all night. They have a surveillance
Normal
camera,
surveillance, like they have in a convenience
just
store.
like
Right.
CJ's had a surveillance
Okay,
camera.
but
that
then
the
they
guy
had to
sniffed.
download it from there.
Oh,
No.
that's easy. I mean,
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, it goes onto a computer like a DVR.
Especially if you work at a computer like they did. They were all
Well, speaking
computer
of
geeks.
cameras,
Mm-hmm.
we went to Kroger,
Right.
okay,
Yeah.
the other day, and I walked over there and I noticed there are no cameras at all in front of the store, but there is a brand new one of those dome cameras right above where the benches used to be.
Right.
But now they got all the shopping carts there, so you can't sit there.
Oh yeah, I saw.
So
it.
I'm saying to myself, he knew what he was doing. He knew he was going to be out of sight. He knew how to park his car. He was going to go fuck with Sammy.
Well, that's what it seems like.
And I don't think he really intended on
Killing them.
He wanted to, I'm sure.
He didn't
I
want.
think they got one-
He didn't want it to turn out the way it did, but he wanted to get away with screwing with the guy. Yeah.
But yeah, they covered his ass because he's got dirt on some people for some reason. I got a funny feeling after the election and everything changes, it's going to come out.
Oh, more than
We'll
likely will
see.
come out.
We'll see, because if Jack Ellis wins the mayorship, I wonder if
Which I think he's going to.
I wonder if he is going to dig further into that case, or is he just going to let it pass, or is he going to say something about getting rid of Sutton, which would be interesting.
Well,
You think Sam Hart would dig into it?
No. I
No.
think Sam Hart's like Rickard.
oh, speaking of, in a segue, I got a note from Paula Brinson
Yes.
that I read it to you, right?
Right.
And I told you I wanted to discuss this because we're going to invite El Tillman back to the show.
Do you think
And-
he'll, do you think
and-
he'll
oh,
go?
he'll come.
You better bring food.
No,
Yeah.
no. But what I want you to do, Anthony,
You don't have any food?
is I want you to listen to this letter. I want you to listen to this letter
That one.
and tell me
Yes.
if you're willing to ask him these questions.
Of course. I'll ask.
Because
I'll ask anybody.
hold on, let me find Paula
Brinson. I'll ask Al any questions. He knows that.
Oh, yeah.
Shit, I was calling Al out way back when he wouldn't show up at those first peacekeeper meetings,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden now he's big in the peacekeepers.
All right, let me find her on
This
chat.
is the morning roast. While he's looking that up, it's 9:19, about 22 seconds.
Okay,
in the
she's
AM.
on right now.
This is Hump Day.
It's
Okay, here we
66
go.
degrees
Here we
in
go.
Macon.
Oh my God, she left me like a gigantic answer to that. All right.
Tell the
Now-
audience who Paula Brinson is, by the way.
All right, Paula Brinson
Local.
is a woman on. She has no pictures. I guess she doesn't like to show
Yeah.
her picture, but she has flowers and all that. She knows everything that's going on in the city somehow.
Very religious lady.
Very religious, and she types mostly in caps,
Yes, hollering at you.
like screaming,
Ah, pay attention.
Send.
and especially when she's reciting scripture or talking about God. Anyway, it's funny how she does that. Kind of like the minister when he's screaming in church. Which, by the way, I told you, I can't stand that.
Right.
You could talk normal. You don't have to scream at me.
Right.
All right. It says, greetings, Irving. I hope and pray all is well. Lightfoot posted a post today about Al Tillman. He meant to post it to be nice and not a criticism, as he is encouraging Al to run for office. The post stated how Al should run for office because he is such a good negotiator. I say to you, Irving, because save our community, PR, try wine. Do you not either have him come on your show and question him friendly, or get someone to publish an open letter to him and others in Macon Telegram and or Macon.com? Ask Al to list with available endorsements, I guess his available endorsement, what he has resolved behind closed doors in our community. Now, Lightfoot, just to give you an understanding of what she's saying here, Lightfoot said the same thing that you were saying about Al. He always talks about, stuff being done behind the scenes.
Closed door.
And yet, Lightfoot was questioning, what have you done behind the scenes?
Well, yeah.
When in fact, nothing's really been done around here. Why aren't you running? Why aren't you being an open voice? And Lightfoot also mentioned, why are you being a hypocrite? He did say that. Why are you being a hypocrite and not running yourself and doing something about it? As you say, unity in the community.
Right.
And yet you're not really doing anything because all you do is, run your business and you got contracts with the city. So that's already been out there. But now she wants us to get him on the show. She said, as a list of available endorsements, what he has resolved behind closed doors for our community. Ask him who placed him in his position in the zoning office. And did he support Mayor Rickett, and how close is their relationship is?
Oh, I know he's a Mayor Rickett supporter.
All right, but then ask him how many city contracts his entertainment company gets as part of his affiliation with the city and Mayor Rickett.
Right.
Really ask him, not in an accusatory way, but in an interview, as a song goes, by Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately? What he really has done for our community.
Right.
1 minute he is on Ellis' side, and the next he is on Rickett. Watch your back and pray always. I am not sowing discord, but I want you to know your foe and walk and exercise in wisdom at all times. It is power. God bless you, and I'll be in touch. All right. Basically, she's saying for us to get Al on the show,
Right.
and to ask those pointed questions that only you are good at, Anthony.
Yeah.
And so what do you think?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with whoever coming on the show. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always open to having anybody here, but I just think that's the kind of questions people want answered anyway.
Right.
I mean, no one wants to hear that same old fluff that they hear on these other local shows.
Yeah.
Those questions are always just so boring, and no one cares, and it doesn't get to the matter, and it's just. I think she's onto something. I think Al plays the fence constantly because he wants to always keep it open to where he can get something.
Well, he was the former NAACP director here in Macon.
He wants to get something at any given time, no matter who's in office. So in order to do that, he's one of those people that has to play nice with all types.
Right.
Like, which is kind of, in my opinion, is kind of a nice way of saying you're a backstabber. Because he's into Rickard's pocket now. He's a good Rickard guy now. Mm-hmm. But if and when Ellis wins, you know damn well Al's going to all of a sudden try to get in on Ellis's good side, right? And try to get Ellis to help him and get money over to some of his stuff through Ellis. You know Al's going to do that.
Right.
I'm sure he was doing that back when Ellis was mayor the first two times.
Right.
So that's the kind of person Al is. But I think Al would admit that.
You know what they call that? A parasite looking for a host.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
by the way,
Exactly.
look, she's also this woman. I swear to God, she's another prophetess in our city. This city of hell that has so much evil in it also has, like, you know, the other extreme. It has people that are really they're spiritually very strong people.
Right.
I believe this woman to be one of them. I swear to God, because look at what she's aware of. She says to me, you have a position of influence and you're humble. I appreciate that. When you organize a rally, or we, but submit it and let someone else take credit for the rally and take over it, you know how to submit to God and He can use you.
Wait a minute. I don't agree
Okay,
with that.
well,
We-
wait a minute.
We never turned a rally over to anybody else. What are you
Well,
talking about?
I believe that she was there when Ellis started
the very first night.
exactly.
Yeah,
And
but I gave Ellis hell over that in
Well,
front of everybody.
but
I didn't sit there and just let him do it. I said, "Oh, still slow down,
no,
Jack.
exactly.
Slow down, Jack."
Yeah,
You're not gonna
we
sit
are
here and
the
take
ones that
over.
organize. But
Okay.
Henry Fickling, while he was standing over there, looked at me, I swear, and I shook his hand, right? I
Right.
said, Mr. Fickling, welcome. He says, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for just staying behind and, you know, doing what you're doing. In other words, letting him, I swear my mother's grave, letting him take over for now. Like, thank you for being humble, he said, or something to
Right.
that effect.
Right.
Of just staying back, you know?
Right.
And I thought that was a pretty nice gesture, and that meant to me that people are aware of what's going on here. Somebody's just showing up to try to take over.
Right.
Which is the reason why I think that...
But Ficklin okayed that because now we know anyway that Ficklin's a Jack supporter.
Exactly. But the fact that he knew what Jack was doing.
Well, they just didn't want. I think a lot of people didn't want. Just as we know, there's racism here in this city, and it's the regular racism of white against black. In a way, there is racism in a different way, but in a way from the blacks toward the whites. You know what I mean? And when I say racism, that's too hard of a word. But in the case of things like this, when there's a cause, I learned from this Sammy Davis Jr. stuff.
Yeah.
When there's a cause that involves such a black and white issue to a lot of people, a black victim, a white cop, even though I always said from the beginning, to me it's beyond race, it's right and wrong, it has nothing to do. I would have acted the same way had it been two black people, two white people, whatever. But I think a lot of people, and some of the politicians is what I'm talking about, they still are going to see it as a race thing. And so when somebody is standing up against a white officer that shot a black man, they darn well want it to be black people that are standing up against it in the forefront. They don't really want, and not all of them, but I can tell, some of them don't want it to be white guys, Jewish guys, Puerto Rican guys that are in the forefront standing up for this
Well,
cause.
wait a minute.
That's what we were.
I kind
That's
of.
what we were.
I think the status quo. That's true. However,
That's what we
the
were.
the one thing that that minister guy that followed us from the park.
Well, this is much later, though.
Wait.
This is 6 months into it.
Right.
I'm talking about from the beginning.
You're gonna help.
Okay, go ahead.
You're gonna let me lose my thought here, and then I'm just gonna sit here and have nothing to say.
Well, the reason I do that, Irvin, is because I know you can't hear well.
No.
And I want to make sure that you heard me correctly before you respond. That's why I interrupted.
I heard you correctly,
Okay.
and
Well, sometimes,
I
like,
hear
I
you.
can't
I'm
hear
not.
what
I'm
you
not
say.
that deaf.
Okay.
I mean, I know. Anyway, so the point I'm trying to make is that I don't agree with what you just said wholeheartedly because it was mentioned at the rally at the end when we were all there praying that minister who followed us from the park was saying, and I'm glad to see that it's not that there are some different colors here or multicultural or there's some white people here. He mentioned that. In other words, they want that right now. That's how bad it's gotten.
But that's not what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. You didn't hear me right. I'm not talking about the last NAACP march. I'm talking about the beginnings of this, the first rallies that we organized. I'm talking about the very first one where Jack Ellis tried to take over. The whole attitude at that first rally in front of City Hall at Rosa Parks Square, and even one or two after that, was that some seemed like they didn't want the non-blacks to be standing up for something that they deep down realized they should have made the attempts to stand up for.
I don't think so, because the reception I was getting from the people that were there was almost like, oh, thank you, thank you.
People. No, you're right. The citizens, yes. I'm talking about the politics. The politics.
Yeah, maybe.
The reason Ellis tried to jump in and take over is because Ellis's attitude to me, in my opinion, was he didn't want it to come across like what I just said. He wanted to seem like it was a black man standing up for this white against black incident.
Right.
The way the media would have made it look was it's this white guy, this Puerto Rican guy, this Jewish guy, this other black guy.
Well, it sure as hell turned into something else, because I'll tell you.
We still had our mention in the article. If you look back at the original article, it does say that we were the ones that organized it.
Right.
But the big picture on front, if you remember, was who? The big photo on the front of the Telegraph was Ellis with Cheryl Davis.
Correct.
Oh, Ellis. Agenda. All about agenda for Ellis.
But you notice he didn't show up at the NAAC rally.
Yeah, he didn't show up at any of the other ones after that.
Right.
We knew from the beginning it was Ellis's big campaign move. We knew that. That's why I think that there are people in this town, and I think Al Tillman's one of them, that they say to us, yeah, they appreciate what we're doing, they like what we're doing, but deep down, and sad to say, I think the peacekeepers are like this too. They want people of their own color.
They want recognition.
Well, but they also want people of their own color to be the ones that go, we stood up against this first. We are making it strictly black and white, because we're all black standing up for it. And that's kind of the point I made when we went to that Peacekeepers thing. And I said to him afterwards, and I wrote on that post about how, to me, the Peacekeepers are very elitist. Yeah. Out in the open, they act like we invite everyone to join us and be a part of us. But deep down, they're very elitist. They only want certain types to join them. But they don't want to come out and say that, because they're trying to come across as if we want everybody to join us.
Well, not only that, they have, and I may be wrong here, but that's what they let out when we were there at the City Hall. What they want is for you to get up and come to us. In other words, if you want to join our group, get your ass up and come. They're not willing to outreach and come to us and say, hey, would you please come to our group?
Right.
You know, because, and then, not only that, but in order for you to really join the group, you have to buy a shirt for $20. And I think that's ridiculous.
We did. Remember, way back at the beginning meetings, we got a free shirt.
I got one, but David Kuzno took mine.
Right. And then Kuzno, you remember what Kuzno did with his? Kuzno gave it to one of the ladies sitting out on her porch in Village Green.
Right.
And he autographed it. You remember that? She asked for his autograph, and he autographed it and gave it to her. I never forget that.
Oh, my God. David Kuzno. Anyway, so...
it was funny.
Yeah,
but anyway, back to the topic. I'm cool with Al Tillman coming on again. Anytime. We'll ask him those questions, Paula Bridges.
By the way, he put out... Remember I told you he put out that post about which mayor would you choose right now, or give me an opinion.
Who was at the top of that? I didn't see it.
It was he had all the pictures of all the guys running.
Right.
And he included Kuzno.
Yeah, well, he's running.
Yeah. And anyway, so he says, well, you know, who would you vote for? Basically, in one sentence.
Yes.
So I put down like 3 sentences about David Kuzno.
Right.
So the sentence that I wrote was, well, David Kuzno's ideas have been stolen by the other candidate.
Some of them.
And I said, I would bet my money on David Kuzno right now. And so Al puts out a thing. This isn't a debate. This is just, listen to the question. In other words, I didn't
Trying
follow
to
the
shut
directions
you
of
up.
the question.
Yeah, he doesn't
Right.
want your
It was one sentence.
He doesn't want your opinion.
Right. So then I went back and erased my post. Oh, actually, he erased it. And I went back and I wrote, David Kuzno's ideas were stolen by the other candidates. How's that?
Right.
So in other words,
One sentence.
one sentence.
Yes.
David Kuzno's ideas have been stolen by the other candidates. All this bullshit that he's talking about, Mayor Ricketts' Second Street project, David was talking about that. You know why? Because David drives around a lot. And he's aware of every frickin' nook and cranny in the city.
Right.
And he was always upset and always thought about the idea that this neighborhood that I live in could be better connected to downtown if they had a nice thoroughfare down that 2nd Street. That it's a bitch to get here. And that's why the city is in like these weird cells
Right.
that don't interconnect. Everything is like far away from each other. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then even far away from each other, you got to go like through that piece of crap neighborhood on 2nd Street
Right.
that has that hump that's like 200 years old that you have to like put your car on 2 miles an hour in order to get over. Am I right?
Yeah.
I know exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and David has been talking about that since he got here, first moved here. He found that to be a dangerous thing.
But see, that's why David and other people, and that's why I do it. That's why whenever you come up with these ideas, post them everywhere. That's the way. A lot of people always act like the Al Tillman way of saying, I work behind closed doors. No. Because you know what happens? That just comes across to me like when something good happens,
Yeah.
then you're a person that tries to start taking credit, saying, I was saying this behind closed doors, when in actuality you might not have been. You're just trying to take credit.
And that's what Al Tillman does. Al Tillman does the same thing.
That's
That's
right.
what he tells me. That was an idea.
But you didn't tell anybody.
Exactly.
That's why when I come up with things, I post the shit all over the place.
Mm.
I used to write it on makeitscene.com. I wrote it on Facebook pages. You know what? And then I keep copies of it. Because then when something turns out, or if it turns out the way I said it was going to, or thought it was going to, then you know what I do? I pull that post back up and I go, bam, I told you, look at the date on this, October 2010, blah, blah, blah. 3 years later, bam, I told you. That's why you do that stuff. It's not because, I want to be right, blah, blah, blah. No, it's what it is. It shows that, look, maybe some of these people in this town don't appreciate or don't give any credit to or don't give their ideas any credit. Maybe those people do have better ideas than you politicians. Maybe they do know what they're talking about, and you guys are the ones that are lost in the dark. And that's why the city is in the hellhole it's in. Maybe they need to listen to their citizens, because maybe those citizens do know what the hell they're talking about. So that's why you have to do that. You always have to keep track of what you say when you have opinions, when you have ideas, when you have proposals. Keep track of it, date it, make sure it's dated, and then you know what? If it comes through later on, you go, look, I told you guys you should have been doing this 5 years ago.
Exactly.
That's the point.
And well, David didn't do that.
And that's my
But
point.
and the problem is that David is such a friendly guy, and he has relationships with all these hobos in some level,
Right.
that he probably tell them. And then, of course, they thought it was a great, that's a great idea, David. I think I'm going to steal that shit.
Yeah. They're not going to
And next thing you know, they start giving themselves credit. Al Tillman says the same thing about this this board that they just threw up for overseeing the police, the
Internal affairs.
Internal Affairs.
Right.
And that he was the one that suggested they ought to have 2 citizens on there.
Right.
But he originally wanted 5. He wanted 3, I think it was 3 to 2.
Okay.
Okay, 2 citizens and 3 police officials.
Right.
And still giving the deciding vote to a police official.
Right.
But he felt that it would be good to have 2 citizens on there that at least could voice, and fight. She was trying to win the argument, in other words.
Right.
Look, it'll be 3 police officers and 2 citizens.
Right.
Right? Guess what? That's exactly what happened, but it happened at a grander scale. There are 9
Right.
people
Right.
and 2 citizens,
Right.
which really doesn't give a deciding vote either way.
Right.
Right.
You understand? They're still
Absolutely.
outnumbered.
Yeah.
But that was Al Tillman's idea, according to Al Tillman.
Well, that's the point, and no one can believe him.
Right.
Because when you go around saying, "Oh, that was my idea," well, you can go, "Okay, maybe it was," but you don't have any proof.
Well,
because
guess
you
who
didn't-
stole it?
You didn't say anything.
Guess who stole it?
Who?
Gibson.
Uh-huh.
That's why Gibson.
Well, that's what Al claims.
Well, that's what Al
But
claimed.
Al might have stole it from someone else that he's not giving credit.
Well,
for. Right.
and Al says Watkins, because I said, well, Watkins at least pushed the law through. You know what I'm saying? If Watkins did steal your idea, I have to give him credit for pushing that shit through, because he's the one in charge, and Al Tillman never decided to run for anything.
Right.
And so he has no ability, no power, other than, saying that wall is ugly.
Al Tillman must have a lot of skeletons in his closet. No, I mean, I'm wondering why he's not running ever. There must be something he doesn't want to come out or something. Because as much as he wants to take part so much in what's going on, he sure as hell doesn't really act like it. You know what I mean? He claims he does, but he says he's behind closed doors doing it. You know?
I mean, he shows
I mean,
he
you know what
shows
I'm
up
saying?
to events.
He does. For food. But I mean...
You see, I knew he was going to say that. I guess I fed you that line. But I fed you that line?
fed
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But that's a good post from Paula Brinson. I'm glad she wrote that. And yeah,
Well,
we'll
she's
try
been
to-
on top of it, brother.
Paula, if you're watching our show now, we don't know if you are. If you are, we're going to try to get out. We'll try to get out. We always get everybody on here, but it's up to them where they want to come on here.
Yeah.
That's very
But
true.
I don't know if Paula will want
I mean,
to
hell,
come
what
on,
might
but
be
I
good?
would love her to
If
come
I have
on.
to end up taking a break from the show because Heather works and all that, you know what might be a good idea is if you guys always fill this seat with a guest. Try to fill this seat every time with a guest for the whole show.
Why not?
Like Al Tillman, like Fickling, like Schlesinger,
Yeah.
It's
like
true.
Carswell.
Well, you're not going to go anywhere.
Well, not now. No.
Well, yeah.
We'll see what happens. I'm
I
just
like
saying.
what
I'm
Yurex
giving the
said.
prep the prep in case Heather gets that
Yeah.
job.
I like what Urex says. If the people were plain old everyday folks, that would be different. But they cherry pick the people, but the fix is still in.
Yeah,
as long
of
as they can pick and choose the two civilians.
That's
Yeah.
right. It's
For
going
the
to be those
committee.
two civilians. You're right, Urak, that are not really civilians.
Well, guess what? That's what Gibson, of course, was saying, that you ought to write and put your name on a list. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to send it to Carswell.
Yeah.
He said, send it to Carswell, send it to Carswell. So I'm going to send it to Carswell, but I'm going to CC Gibson and say, I want my name on a list. I'm
Might
going
as well
to
CC
email
the mayor,
them.
too.
I'm going to email them, and then I'm going to make a copy and hand it to them. So I'm going to say, it's also on your email,
Right,
because I want to be on that freaking board,
right,
helping to decide whether what happened is true or not.
right.
And I'm hoping that you could do the same thing, Anthony.
We'll see.
Okay.
I'm kind of torn between doing it. In a way, I want to, but then in a way, I've always been the guy that never wanted to be a part of any kind of board and group like that.
Yeah,
You
but
know, it's like
going to a meeting.
it's like Groucho Marx said. You know, I don't want to be part of a group that would have me as a member.
Are you going to commit to going to those meetings at number 3, since it's your...
Well, some of them, but I mean, remember they're not going to have another one for 2 months now.
Right.
That was the last one, and I said I'll go to the precinct 2 one with you next time.
Yeah.
We'll find
Now,
out.
when's the one that everybody comes together?
August or September, they said.
Okay.
And Urban's talking about the neighborhood watch
Yeah,
meetings
number one.
that we went to. You know, we went to precincts 3 this past Monday.
Yeah.
But they're
It's a
not,
pretty good crowd.
but they're not going to have another one until August or September. So, and that's the big, gigantic one in which all precincts come together
Right.
and hang out.
And that's really what Lightfoot was talking about. Now, Lightfoot is a character. He's about 6 foot, what, 3?
8.
Six
No,
foot 8.
He's more than 6'3".
He's more than 6 foot 3?
Yeah.
He's 6.
Yeah, that guy is Herman Munster.
He's at least 6'5".
6'5",
Maybe
and at
more.
one time he was telling me while we were walking together, we were kind of walking the same pace, and he said, Herb, you know I used to weigh almost 500 pounds.
Wow.
That he lost all that weight. That's why he's got a lot of the flab. You could see it.
Yeah.
And but it's amazing how much weight he lost.
Yeah.
He says I think he's at 275 now. But remember, he's 6'5".
Right.
So he's always going to be, I mean, just a big, like I said in church one day, a big slab of meat.
Yeah.
I said that in church as an analogy.
A big slab of meat.
A big slab. Well, I said, God is the one that gives us this electrical impulse in us that keeps us awake and allows for this big slab of meat to walk around. Everybody laughed.
Right.
Okay. Anyway.
I did that.
Let's finish up locals, I guess. We got some national.
Veggie-licious. All right. What do we got?
I got a story. Yes, authorities say in Atlanta, an 8-year-old girl was hospitalized after she was shot by a stray bullet as she slept in her Atlanta home. The shooting happened around 10:30 p.m. Monday night at the Hollywood Shawnee Apartments on the city's northwest side. Police say the child was asleep in her bed when a round of a high-powered weapon struck her in the leg. She was taken to Children's Healthcare in Atlanta and Eggleston in stable condition. The police said that they believe the shot came from outside the apartment in the parking lot where people were arguing at the time.
Yeah, people are just crazy. Crazy and reckless.
Well, here's a message from your wife.
What?
Hey, the kids are driving me crazy. I am already going to the pool. The neighbor's kids are already ringing the doorbell with swimsuits on at 8:30. Help.
Yeah, the swimming pool at the apartment complex opened up yesterday.
Oh, cool.
They cleaned it and opened it, and now, right after school, our kids and some of their friends around the neighborhood went swimming, and now I guess they're wanting to go swim today.
And that's good.
Yeah, gets exercise.
Gives them exercise, makes them busy.
Gets
You
the
don't have to
hell
be.
out of the house. That's right.
Yeah.
Although
Hell, I'm gonna be hitting that pool come soon when I get a chance. You know that.
just make sure you don't take a shower and leave some poop in it.
Yeah, that was one of the stories that we talked about yesterday.
Well, I did see that.
Woo, boy, it was nasty.
Well, actually, I was here for that one.
Oh,
Because remember, I was the one that brought up Caddyshack.
Oh, yeah.
That was when Michael Hicks was sitting.
Oh, yeah, Michael Hicks was here this
Yeah,
time.
I was over there next day.
Anyway, he didn't
What
come
are the-
back, but I'll get in touch with him. He was good that day.
Yeah, good to have him. And again, and let's put that shout out right now that anybody locally or even not locally, and if you come to town, you want to be on the show, just shoot an email to Irvin or Derek.
Yeah, Ellen
Yes,
Macon,
yes.
you can come.
I mean,
Iraq, of course.
Anybody can be a guest.
Any-
Yes,
It's open all the time.
definitely, no problem at all.
And-
Our
Any
show is your
everybody.
show.
I even asked Michelangelo if he could be a guest on it, but he lives in Atlanta, and I don't know if he's able to travel, all the way down to Macon. But
Well, tell him we'll get him on Skype.
Yeah,
And we'll do
his
like
Skype-
that the ugly Donnie Curry.
Yeah, he
face.
said he will definitely call in because he was because we played a couple of his trailers. One of them, the single in the ATL 2, which he sent over to the Macon Film Festival earlier this year.
Hey, Yurak says, I will fix breakfast for y'all. Go, Yurak, you're hired.
Yeah.
Yeah, hired.
When?
So what are you
Now,
gonna do? You're gonna
for
fix
now?
it. You're gonna fix it and bring it over here, Yurak, or you expect them to come over there and do the show at the Cat Cave?
We could do it in the
Yeah,
kitchen.
definitely. Do it without.
We'll do it in the kitchen. We'll move all the shit in the kitchen.
Speaking of Yurak, did he do a show yesterday?
Yes, he did.
Okay. See, I was
Actually,
at
he
rehearsal.
brought us.
I was at rehearsal.
He brought us last night.
Right.
He brought us chicken fingers.
Wow.
He brought us fried okra.
Chicken fingers.
And I believe that was spinach. I believe that was spinach, right? That was spinach.
I don't know.
He doesn't know green. Beautiful, like this.
I wish
Nice
I
and
could-
hot,
I wish I
beautiful.
was there.
So how many people do you have on the show?
It was gorgeous.
How many people were actually on the show?
Yeah, it was delicious. You're right. I had it last night. I was like,
He said collard greens, not
collard greens. That's what it was.
Collard greens.
Collard.
Caroline says, no, the neighbors, she left another message. No, the neighbors' kids are 4 and 6, no parents in sight. Who would let kids go to the pool alone at that age?
Yeah. They should be very thankful, Heather, that they have you to be that sort of
Yes.
parent.
Yep.
They're just assuming that you're going to do it. You're
Well,
kind
you know,
enough to-
Heather gives off such a sweet spirit. I mean,
she
people
is.
can trust her right away.
Well, she's out there with our kids and doing stuff with them, and then I guess the other parents just think, hey, I'll just pawn my kids out on
Yeah,
you.
right.
We'll watch them too.
Well,
Yeah.
So, but you know, it happens. And
I'm sure Heather will be on top of it.
but also, Heather, remember, sweetie, some of those kids are moving out of here Saturday, so you won't have to worry about that too much.
You got to be careful with kids nowadays, man.
Yeah.
Good.
turn your head 1 minute, and
Yeah.
they're gone the next.
Remember, that's what happened. Heather and I talked about this a few days ago. That's what happened to Tommy Lee, the drummer of Motley Crue. Remember a few years ago, he was having a party, birthday party, at his place for his kid, and one of his boys' friends drowned in that pool.
You know what, Heather? I would suggest maybe you tell those kids, go find your mommy and all that. Don't take on that responsibility now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. Well,
since you're going to be there, obviously with your kids, they may just try to, it may be trouble.
She says, I'm on duty after the show. Oh, guys, speaking of that, y'all want to do like an extra 2-hour show today?
Yeah. Yeah, let's do it.
She's going to put me on duty if I don't. Heather, sorry, we're going to go to 1 o'clock today.
Yeah.
No, we're not.
It says no,
No,
we're not.
in fact, we're going to end at 10. I'm shutting down at 10.
Oh, no, you're not.
10 minutes. He's out of here.
And I'm going back to sleep.
All right. You're on duty after the show.
That's fine. I'll be there. I'll be on duty.
You're on duty.
Duty. Shit,
Yeah.
I'm not changing any diapers. That our kids are out of diapers. I'm done with that. I'm not. Yeah,
but you're not.
I'm about to be back in diapers. I'm
I
getting so
know.
damn old.
Well,
I'm
you're
about to
not
be
that
back
old
in
yet.
them.
So we can call you Al Roker.
That's right.
Dumpster Baby says your neighbors shouldn't take liberties. They should have called you before the kids
Well, let's
and
talk
turned
about
up at the door.
Let's talk about this Dumpster Baby and everybody else. This is the deal. These kids now, it's not anything new. Now these kids every day after school for now what, Heather? For now about a month. Every day after school, these kids would play. Now even before they started playing with our kids, they would be playing down at their end near their apartment long before, like ever since we moved in those apartments. But then what happened is that my kids came out and then they went over there and started mingling with them and they met each other and they started becoming friends. One of those kids is already in Max's class, so they knew each other. So what happened is they started mingling after school and playing.
Good.
Well, what we did as good parents, we said, well, kids, you can play with them, but you're going to do it over on our side. You're not going way the hell down there. You guys have to play over near us where we can have our door open, look out into the patio, look out through the screen, and see you guys playing in front.
Yeah, I can see that.
So we told them they
Let's
have
go.
to come on our side. So then what happened is all of those kids came over to our side with our kids. But their parents don't seem to give a shit, so they don't check on them. So now it's just snowballed into this whole every day after school for the past month. Once the kids were done with homework, bam.
They show up at your door.
But their kids never did homework. They're showing up like 5 minutes after they get off the school bus. And we would have to tell the kids, no, they got to do homework first. After homework, they'll come play. So then our kids would do our homework, and then we'd let them go out, and then they would play.
Yeah, let's be friends.
But then, now that the pool's open, they all want to move to the pool, which is around the corner.
From you.
Yeah. It's not far from us, but it's around the corner. It's not in our view. So then,
Is it closer to you than it is to those people?
Yes, it's closer to our
Oh,
apartment.
Lord.
But Heather, of course, goes out there, or Heather's sister goes out there with her.
Right. Well, Dumpster Baby says good parenting, but the neighbors should call ahead and make sure that you're fine with it.
I know, but Dumpster Baby, I don't know where you come from, where you live, but believe it or not, in Macon, Georgia, that's one of the problems with the parents.
Yeah.
That's why we have the crime we have.
Yeah. Well, Tara London.
There's no parenting.
Tara London says, lucky kids, let's all go watch Uncle Anthony on Facebook.
Yeah, why don't you do a show?
Make sure you don't curse.
She's making her comments.
That way you can do all talking.
Yeah. I'm just trying to keep the show going. Because I'll be honest with you guys, if you're going to pick on me, let me tell you something. This is honest. This is not getting back at you. When I watched the show yesterday, it was kind of dull. That's just my opinion. And I'm not saying that because I wasn't here. But sometimes I watch you too, and it's not me. It was good. I have given y'all credit. But yesterday, it was kind of dull.
Okay.
And the reason why...
Even though we were like number one the whole
No,
time.
Yeah, exactly. We were number one the whole time.
Well, maybe because they like you guys without me. I'm not saying that. I mean,
I don't know.
What's the old saying?
I don't
What's
know.
the old saying Mencken said? No one ever went broke underestimating the taste of the American public.
Well, now
so
you just
because
say-
something's number one doesn't mean it's great.
But I will say this.
Seinfeld was number one, and it wasn't great.
Well, but I will say
let me
this. I will say
Go
this
ahead.
on your
It wasn't that
behalf.
bad.
Very
Go ahead.
quickly, I
But
will
I'm gonna
say
tell you
that
why.
I didn't feel it was such a great show.
It wasn't. It didn't look good. And I'm gonna
It it was
why.
okay.
But let me tell you
I was
why.
kind of
But
insecure
let me
about
tell
that.
you why. Let me tell you why. The whole time, Irvin was only talking. You were rarely talking, Derek.
I was talking.
Yeah, but believe it or not, Ed, sometimes when you talk, it's not the best either because sometimes you shout shit out and you can't hear what everybody else was saying.
Oh, yeah.
And it's very jaggedy. It's
Well,
like
that's because I try to wait for a pause.
Right.
I raise my hand, but nobody lets me
that's
fucking
right.
talk.
That's what happens with the show is we all interrupt each other because no one ever stops. I
Towel
agree with
understand. It was not dull.
Well, she
Thank
wasn't
you.
watching. She wasn't watching. She was in there putting her makeup on and getting ready to go job hunt. But no, this is my opinion, guys, and you can rewatch.
Hey, I love it.
You can rewatch the video yourself.
Yeah.
But also what happened was it didn't seem like, and I might be wrong, and I didn't catch the last hour with Kuzno, so I can't speak for that. I was gone already. It didn't seem like you guys really had any stories either.
Bullshit. I was reading old stories left and right. I had all these freaking stories. We were doing
But they were
local. We were doing this, and you weren't
But you know
paying
what
attention.
happened? But you know what happened? You were on it, and I understand now why some of the chatters say this even when I'm here. I understand it now when Gamer Girl says it. Some of the topics you guys were on way too long yesterday. Way too long.
I can't freaking believe this is like the worst guy that does that shit.
Way too long.
Are you
fuck that
crazy?
shit, man.
Well, what I'm saying is,
You spent
No,
an
it
hour
could
and a
be
half
true.
talking about fucking cereal
but
one
it could
day.
be true. It could be true, but I'm seeing it from another
Count
side.
Chocula.
That's right. That's my point. I'm
Hurry,
coming from
Pepsi.
the
Well, wait a minute. Yurak says, wait a minute. Hold on. I thought it was pretty good. Then Tara London said, the Anthony Show with Derek and Irv.
Yes,
And then,
definitely,
LOL. All right, the questions were rolling in for DC. We had phone calls.
Well, wait. I'm not talking about the
We
last
had
hour.
like 4 or 5 phone
But
calls.
look, I'm not talking about
Wait
the
a
last
second,
hour.
they were all Donnie.
Somebody
that's
get
true,
an
too.
anthem.
That's true.
Remember that question?
I was
Remember
on
that
when
question
Donnie
they were
kept
talking about David Kuzma about would he believe it was biological or?
But see, I didn't hear that
Yeah,
part.
I
I can't speak.
Tara
No,
London,
what I'm
your-
saying.
Your wife is saying somebody get Anthem Mirror.
What I'm saying is it needs a third person, regardless of it's me. That's
Yeah.
why with Kuzno it probably was better. Because
No,
Kuzno
not
is-
with Kuzno.
No, you said
I
with
mean,
Kuzno
yeah, it
y'all had
was
some good
okay. I mean,
conversation.
yeah.
Well, let's do this after the
The
show.
whole show was great.
Let's do this after the show. Ed, did you already post yesterday's show?
Yeah.
Let's sit and watch some of it, and you guys give me your honest opinion after the show. Let's watch some of yesterday's with just you two, and you give me your honest opinion whether you think it's exciting. And I mean honest.
Okay.
We'll do that after the show. I'm not just trying to pick on you
No,
guys.
you know what?
because
By the way, well, and
there's-
I'm gonna say something. I got comments from people on Facebook.
Right.
I'm not gonna
Well, I
lie.
understand
They said
this.
it went well, and it's not. It's just that you guys got to let each other talk.
Well,
You
I
can't be
understand
talking
that.
over each other.
I understand
Other than
that.
that, it's a great show.
I understand that, and I know I talk too much sometimes.
And that's
but
what the difference was yesterday.
but
Well, yeah,
But
and-
you know
and-
what?
and
But
dumb-
you know what it missed also with you guys yesterday.
You.
No, it missed the comedy. You guys weren't even trying to be funny. Even when I try to be funny,
No,
and
it
it's
was a
bad,
pretty serious one.
It was. That's the point I'm
Yeah,
making.
but we don't have to have comedy every day.
Yeah, but it to me it gets boring then.
So
And
basically,
I'd rather have
we need
bad
to,
comedy than no comedy.
I think
Yes.
that we ought to actually be a little bit more serious of a show. That way they'll take us more serious
I think
and
it'd be
not think
So
that
ba-
we're just a bunch of three
so
Looney
basically
Tunes.
what you're saying, we should need a little flavor to our Chuck D and Professor
Exactly.
Griff.
Exactly. I love the cycle. It goes back to the beginning of the show. You need a balance of silliness and seriousness. And when I watched yesterday, it was no silliness whatsoever.
Yeah, you're
There
right.
wasn't
it
anybody throwing in a crazy, stupid joke like I do, even if it's dumb. There was nobody saying something stupid. It was just Irvin going, okay, let's go to this story.
Oh,
and
bullshit.
Derek going.
It wasn't.
It is. Watch. We will watch the show afterwards. and you
Once
guys
again,
tell
it
me.
is the incredible
It's on-
prime animal.
You all watch
enemy
the
number
show.
one.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to
By the
watch
way,
it.
Dumpster baby says, how can you be on a topic too long? People are interested, the chat room will be busy. And if they were on topics too long, the chat would stop.
No,
Yeah.
you can tell because they're chatting is not even talking about what you guys are talking about.
But what you
When
have
they're
to,
doing that,
but what
it's
you have
trying
to,
change
but what you have to
subject.
understand, Ed, is that you can't always go with what the chatters say either. You can't let the chatters completely control the show. And just because one chatter, like I noticed yesterday, Gamer Girl said it twice when I was watching. She said, "Guys, can we get off?"
I don't agree with you.
She goes,
you know why?
She goes,
without chatters, we don't have a show.
I know, but then if that's the case, why don't the chatters just do the
All
right
right, Tara London says he loves himself. No one will ever be as clever, charming, and funny. Thank you, God. We are welcome. I mean, we are thankful.
Hey, London, how many minutes a day?
That's his wife now, okay?
Well, she told me she was gonna do this.
Can I say something now?
She said this morning.
See that?
Go ahead, Ed. Go ahead.
But Ed, then you need to sit on this side.
One thing. I say something every once in a while. Tara London, how many minutes a day does he spend in front of the mirror?
Not much. If she's honest, she'll say she spends more in front of the mirror than I do.
Oh, by the way, Tara London says, I love you, Aunt, but the show needs Irv, Derek, and Ed
No,
too.
I didn't say that. I never said that. We've always said it needs all of us for the puzzle. But when I hear, and it's all opinion. We know that. It's everybody's saying opinion here. But when I hear that I'm on here and the show is worse, I'm thinking, wait a minute. I disagree. I watched the show yesterday for the first hour and 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. And to me, it was boring. And I'm not saying that because I wasn't here. It was because, you know why, Ed? You know what else mistake you made, Ed? At the beginning? You left the camera at an angle that showed an empty chair. I think you finally
there was a reason
I think
for
you
that.
finally corrected it in the middle of the show. But
I put your picture there.
Yeah, but that didn't look right. You should have zoned in on them too.
Okay,
is what you should have done.
I was about to say, you
Because
didn't like the picture?
No,
you know
the picture
what?
was
You
funny.
know what? Anything outside of his thinking is wrong.
No, it's
Remember
opinion.
that.
It's opinion.
Remember that.
You guys are taking
I
it to
think
heart.
we did a good show.
We got Brent coming up.
And not only that, but I go by what the chatters say. And it says, Aunt, Dumpster Baby, Aunt, you keep the show interesting, but damn, you need to learn to let other people do their own thing. Alright? The show was fine yesterday.
You need to breathe every
Okay,
once
well,
in a while,
I'll
man.
let you guys watch part of it after the show today. Heather, I'll be late. I'll be home.
Let us?
Yeah. Well, you're not going to let them. You're going to bed. So they got to watch it on YouTube.
By the way, Fluffy Donkey says Anthony is like a soccer mom. Talks with a loud voice, but doesn't listen.
I've been told that.
Wildcat says, I liked it. Anthony's teeth are way too white for a white guy.
What did he say?
Anthony's teeth are way too white for a white guy.
I take care of him.
Yeah, come on, man.
That's
come on. White people can brush with Colgate too, and Crest and all that stuff.
Yeah, but I understand what he's saying.
Well,
a lot of white people got dirty teeth.
You know, I bet you got the brightest smile people have come across.
Ed, the reason I disagree with what you
he's
said, the reason I disagree with what you said about the chatters, Ed, is that if you felt that way, then every show on TV would do what everybody wrote in letters, viewer mail said.
Dude, I don't watch TV.
No, but that's my point. Is the chatters are part of the show,
right?
But if the chatters are going to be the show and it's all based on them, then why the hell don't they go do their own show?
No. Wait a minute.
Then why
Listen,
are they on
you
our
don't
show?
understand the whole idea behind this, obviously.
Interactive. The word
Right.
interactive.
Yeah.
But Interactive takes them. They're coming to us because of what? Because we made a show.
Wait a minute.
They didn't make the show.
No.
We made it. They now come to it and are part of
It's
it.
more than that, Anthony. What they are is, without the chatters,
I know
there is no show. Okay, that's the
not
number
true.
one.
That's not true.
Wait a minute. We could sit here like a
That's
bunch of
right.
morons,
But there's still a show.
and talk to an empty screen.
But there's still
Boy,
a show.
that's really good.
No, but you're wrong. You're wrong, Irvin.
No,
Because the chatters can't sit here
Can
with an
I
empty
finish
screen
my
and
thought?
chat. They
Can I
go-
finish my thought?
they
You've
have
been
to have a
yapping
show.
on
They have to
about
have a
the
show.
chatters.
But that's
Here's
not
my
correct.
point.
Derek
Here's
wouldn't
my
agree with
point.
me. The chatters don't have
Fluffy
a show. They're
Donkey
not
says,
here.
and let Irv finish. Here's my point. The chatters are part of the show.
Part of it.
Shut up.
Go.
Now, this is a forum that was specifically designed to interact.
Yeah.
This is not television where people turn it
That's
on
to interact,
and
too.
they just sit there like a bunch of farting
No.
assholes.
That's
Wait a
to
minute.
interact. You're wrong.
They don't, there's no interaction.
There is.
There's no interaction.
Talk show format, there is.
That's what I'm saying. You're saying the same thing I'm saying. Our show is not television. Our show is an interactive show where the chatters and us are bullshitting back and forth.
It's a talk show.
It's a talk show. It's a you know, whatever. It is an interactive show.
Right.
And without the audience, there is no show. And it's not like.
But without the show, there's no audience. You can still have the show without the audience.
I understand that.
We can sit here alone with one person watching and still have a show.
Look,
and
no audience.
They can't. It doesn't matter. They can't sit here without us logged on as a show and do this. They have to go do that on another show, right? They can't sit here and do this without us being logged in. Correct. So we can.
No.
Yes, that is true.
No, I don't log in. I go through Adobe.
No, but they can't sit next to our screen and talk unless there's a show for them to talk about. Then they have to go to, say, Gamer Girls show or Urac show. We can sit here and have this being telecast and have this blank over here and still be doing a show. We don't have to have them to do the show. We have
to have them to do this.
Well, we want them.
What the hell? I'm not going to sit there like a freaking moron
but you're not breaking
talking
it
to
down.
an empty
He
town.
knows what I mean. He means
Time
the
out.
show can happen without them, but they can't do our show without us. Is what
It's
he,
time for a break.
Time out. It's time for a break.
Yes.
When we come back, let's take a group hug.
No, we're not arguing.
It's
It's
10
Well, we're taking a break.
Yes,
Right.
it's 10:06 right now. How you want your eggs, Ed? Scrambled over easy what? It's 71 degrees
On my
right.
windshield.
Okay, it's 71 degrees outside of Macon, Georgia, with a high of 87 and a low of 67. You're watching the Morning Roast live from the Nut House.
Yeah.
Yeah, what he said. Yeah, we'll be back.
Vocal Bite's got a new show now. Vocal Bite's trying to take over. Like I said, taste of the public never said anything was good, in my opinion. That's evident through the years. I don't care if the ratings are off the wall. We don't make money. This would be great if we were making money, but we don't make money. We're not getting paid. Now, if you're getting ratings like Seinfeld because they're making billions of dollars, fine. You don't care if the public sucks or if the public has no taste. We're doing this shit for free and not getting paid for it. So deep down, why do we really care what people think?
I do.
I know, Fluff Donkey. I'm saying it. I know you can hear us. But see, Vocal Bite's got a show now competing with us.
I don't care.
I don't either.
I'll probably be on the show.
You got no taste, dumpster baby. You're on our show. I did that before. Way back at Roasting. Did that at Roasting. And Gary was doing it. Bye, sweetheart. Yeah, you all suck. Fuck off, all of you.
You're starting to sound like me.
From the beginning, I always had an opinion, and I'll say it. It's my right. Go to Vocal Bite's show, The Breakfast Club. He's so unoriginal, he has to steal a movie title. We'll come back, we're gonna make fun of Vocal Bite. Bye, everybody. See ya. Get out of here. We want one viewer. No, that's not my music, Fluff Donkey.
Now that's a local band. And this is a distant cousin of mine. This was the tune that was on Army Watch, one of the episodes. The intro. When Trevor comes home.
There's no such word as conversate. That's not a real word. Right? Well, I'm not offended. I'm very thick-skinned. It's just, I'm just as much as I'm thick-skinned, you guys have to be too, because my opinion of what I saw yesterday, it was just a kind of boring show. I didn't see the whole show. I mean, we'll watch a little bit of it later and I'll show you. That's a good one. Irvin, look it up. Yeah, but Fluff Donkey popularity contests are always wrong. Derek didn't agree with the fat black girl at the University of Mississippi. Well, that was a popularity contest. You can't say that's right. See my point? Are we back?
Yeah.
We're back.
We are back.
See, now you heard our conversation. See, we're going to continue this. See, it's all opinion, no matter what. And the thing about it, just as y'all are entitled to yours, I'm entitled to mine.
You're right.
Now, you're right. Ratings will show that. But what you guys and gals forget is we're not getting paid for this. Shit, I can sit home. I can sit home and save my gas money and not worry about it.
Well, wait a minute.
You know what I mean?
But
so
that's the point of it. That we're all doing this for the love of the show.
No, but there's also another reason.
But wait a minute.
We're working towards a goal.
Well, yeah, we hope
we're working towards a goal.
If there was no goal,
why the hell do it?
I go back to
Right.
Right.
And what you're saying is that whether you get paid or not, you really don't, unless you really get paid, unless you get paid, you would be willing to give a shit about the show.
No, not
but
at all.
At this point, it doesn't mean anything to you because you're not getting paid.
No.
And I thought that we were doing the show, and I still believe that.
We are.
Because you enjoy doing the show.
But Ed's right. You have to work toward a goal, too.
Well, that's what we're doing.
You can't.
But we can't have a good show
but
and
the goal,
work towards a goal.
But let me tell you the goal.
We're all over the place.
But let me tell you the goal, Irvin, that I noticed yesterday with just you two. and this is my opinion, you guys were as boring as Mix in the Morning.
No.
That's just me.
Yeah, I don't agree with you.
I think so.
I'll tell you,
think
that's
we
an
are
extreme
better,
point,
so.
and it's insulting.
Well, but I'm sorry,
Because-
and you can't judge ratings because in that case,
We had ratings, we had chatters,
guess
we had
what?
people
Guess what?
interacting,
If
we
you-
were reading their
well,
shit.
we always have people interacting. Even when I'm here, people are interacting. And
Okay,
I've been
Wait,
here,
wait,
and I've been here with
Let the
50
chatters
plus viewers.
tell you what they think.
Yeah, but it's just opinion still. I
But
don't.
those are the people that are watching.
Exactly.
That's the point. But that's the point.
So
So
if you can stand in front of the camera,
So-
nobody's gonna watch.
No,
you.
any show that doesn't have ratings, it gets off
No.
the air.
So do
okay?
you-
What good
that's
is
not
it
true at
for
all.
us?
Do you always agree with these voting shows like American Idol and Survivor? Do you always agree with what happens on who wins those and not? No, of course you don't, because you're not gonna always please your viewers.
Yeah.
You're not gonna always please
Well,
your viewers.
according to the viewers, who I'm going to take their word for it other than yours, since everything that you argue about is completely from Mars and outer space
No,
anyway.
it's not at all. It's just
They say
it's
it was
just
a
the
good show.
The show.
Could we have
and
done
that's
better? We could have done better if
that's
we had another
appreciated.
person here as well.
That's appreciated that they like the show. We want them to give those compliments. But the thing about it, it's going to always be opinion. And the thing about it is that, to me, my side of why I wanted to do this show to begin with, and I'll tell you my side, you guys can then tell your sides. My side was that I wanted to do something better than what was offered locally first. and
Which we
foremost.
are.
Okay,
Which we are.
We were. We
No, bullshit.
We are with the full group. I don't think so.
I
It's just
think
missing parts of
we
the
are
puzzle.
both with the full group and not the full group.
it
Can we do?
depends.
Listen, I did
Okay,
it.
Irvin.
You never let a goddamn person finish, Anthony.
But you're bringing up ratings, and if you're going to agree with ratings, then you have to say Mix in the Morning's better than us because they have more viewers than we do. Correct? They have more viewers locally than us.
Why don't
correct?
you answer for me since you're
Well, no,
yapping
but
away?
because you're saying ratings matter. You're saying what they say matters. If that's the case, then you agree Meth in the Morning is better because they have way more local viewers than we do.
Okay.
Their local viewership is 50 times bigger than ours. They don't have a bigger computer viewership. We have more on the computer. Their Ustream sucks. They have like 2 people watching them. But they have way more on TV than we do. Plus radio. They're on the radio, okay? So their show sucks according to us. But yet, with your mentality that we must be good if our viewers say it, then you got to say Meth in the Morning's good because their viewers say it.
Okay, wait. Dumpster Baby says, and you're building a straw man argument, and you're making out that Irv and Derek are doing shit for ratings. They weren't. They got ratings doing their own thing.
No, I didn't say they're doing shit. What I'm saying...
And we're talking about the show that you're saying was boring.
In my opinion,
Yes.
what I saw was...
Yeah,
It wasn't all the time.
because you're always on freaking hyper mode, and you think that this show's got to be.
Well,
Look,
it's
I
gotta
was
have-
talking about
yeah,
this.
it's gotta have
I
energy.
was talking about
It's
this.
gotta have energy.
I was talking about this. Listen, but your energy is like putting what do you call it? Jet fuel in a car. We were driving smoothly. We were making some headway. We actually had some funny moments. Derek was very animated. We were doing everything that we possibly could to take up the slack of your ODing and screaming and not letting people talk. And we were trying to make the show interesting. We understand that. But your opinion is...
I'm starting to
but
are you
that's
doing
not-
this on purpose, man?
but that is not-
Are you just
Irvin,
basically
no, I'm
trying
not.
to get people to
Irvin,
cuss you out in
Irvin,
public? I mean,
Irvin,
really, just...
Irvin, that's not true. Irvin, that's not true. You were struggling your ass off, and it's obvious on the video to speak because Derek wasn't responding much to you.
Right, there was a couple of times.
You're trying to pass it off like my energy was gone, so it was better. No, what it was you're trying to keep the show going by speaking nonstop because Derek's not talking. That's what it was obvious with.
Okay.
I
And
was
that's
done
true.
because I had to get the next story out.
But that's my case. That's why, as much as I might annoy everybody with my loudness and my
And I
modestness,
love it. I'm not complaining.
I'm here to keep it going because you're a talk show.
Yeah.
You talk.
And
no
I'm
one wants to
not
see us going.
complaining. Yeah, but here's
And that's what it looks
But
like.
here's the thing. When you go on overload and you know
Which
that
I'm
I
not
can
allowed.
be just as boisterous and loud and screaming and long-winded as you.
Right.
And we talked about that there has to be a balance, but there are times that you forget that. You'll just yap
Well,
on
can I
and on,
explain-
and you preface stories for 20 minutes
Well, you have to
get to
You
your
have
freaking
to.
point.
You have to.
Well.
Because that's another thing I noticed on other shows sometimes, and that's why I always interject, is you guys come in with something and you don't give a preface, and the audience goes, what the hell are they talking about?
All of us need to
because
be
you
here.
just started talking about something and you didn't give a headline, and you can't do that.
Why not?
Because you
I
have to-
decided I wanted to do that.
Well,
you can't
because
do. You
have to
wouldn't
give-
do that,
you
and
have
that's
to
your
give the
opinion. I'll
audience
take
a
that.
Setup. There's something called setup.
Whatever.
Just like in comedy, you have
I'm
to
just.
set
I
up.
look. This show is on. I'm talking. Fuck it. It's gonna go the way
And
I
then-
feel a guy
and
needs to
then-
go. When you're here, you can train me like the wildcat that I am.
Urban, another thing. The reason I holler a lot and do what I do is you don't hear worth a shit. You don't hear half of what people say.
You're full of shit.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Another
isn't it?
excuse.
Ed, does he always not hear? You've even said that.
It's when you guys
I mean,
start
I think
becoming
he's got a
bold.
little selective hearing.
Hearing? Well, maybe that
sometimes.
too.
Or he's just thinking about something and he doesn't.
And-
Oh, I'm reading the chatters.
Right, but
while
see-
you're yapping
but-
on,
but
making
do you
20-minute
see-
long
but do you-
premises
but
and
do
prefaces.
you see how that show looks? That's what makes it look bad. You guys don't understand that. When you're sitting there doing that, and then there's that kind of speed bump, that's what happens.
I guess so.
Wow.
And that's the pot calling the kettle.
Hey, fellas. Can you smell what the roast is brewing?
And let me
Well,
tell you,
roasting.
I love that Derek is kind of the nerd in this place because
kind of the nerd.
I think we have a great show. I think we have a great mix.
Yes, I'm the local Wayne Brady here. Yes, I am.
And lately I've been thinking that Anthony's getting bored with doing the show.
No.
Honestly, I'm feeling that.
I want
because,
excitement. I don't want a boring show.
Yeah, but you want to come in here like ODing on cocaine
Well,
and freak
naturally.
everybody out.
Naturally,
That's
yeah.
not every day. I want also what I want. That's what you want. And let me tell you what I want. What I want is our show to be taken a little bit more seriously. Let's have good conversations like we
Okay.
do. Let's,
You're right on point, Ed, because I do have some stories.
Okay, what
national story about something that's been going on this week, about updates about the tornado in Moore, Oklahoma.
let's do it.
It was rated an EF. Rescuers neared an end of their desperate search for survivors in the debris of destroyed homes, schools, and businesses Tuesday after a massive tornado blasted through this Tornado Alley town in Moore, Oklahoma, killing at least 24 people. That's the most current toll right now, and injuring more than 200. The National Weather Service upgraded its estimate of the storm's force, saying it was the strongest type, an EF5, impacting incredible fury with winds of more than 200 miles per hour.
Yeah.
A day earlier, it said that the storm was an EF4, but now they upgraded it to an EF5. Fire Chief Gary Bird said he is 98% sure that there are no more survivors or bodies to recover under the rubble in the town. He said that every damaged home had been searched at least once and that the work could be completed by nightfall tonight through rain-slowed efforts. Bird said that no additional survivors or bodies have been found since Monday night. Oklahoma Insurance Commissioner John Doak said losses were likely to exceed $3 billion in losses in the 2011 tornado that devastated Joplin, Missouri. In 2011, when 161 people were killed.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you know what, Derek?
9 of them were kids. That didn't say that, but I heard that on the news.
Yeah,
9
they-
were kids.
Nine were
Nine were
kids.
kids.
Nine were
Nine
kids in the
kids
school.
died.
9 kids died. 24.
And they were talking about how they need to now rebuild, but they're going to rebuild according to code. Hopefully that's going to take, 20 years? And the other thing is, the way it shredded it, there's another article that I read, that it was as strong as like 25 Hiroshima bombs going off.
Woo!
I mean, that is strong when 200 miles an hour,
Yeah,
you know?
that's really huge. That is so huge. And more of that, I do have an update. The Oklahoma, there's a 9-year-old girl who went missing after Oklahoma tornado was found. She was among the children that were found dead, I guess.
Dead.
Picture
Wow.
you sent me?
Yes, Janae Hornsby. Janae Hornsby is
Well, that's
is
good. She
9-year-old.
was found alive. Was she found alive?
She was found alive. No,
She was
in the
found.
headline. All you
According
gotta
to
do
the
is
story,
look
was
at the
found
headline.
dead.
Oh,
Yeah,
dead.
she was a
Okay.
She
moment.
was found dead.
Well, that's not good. Okay.
Yeah, that's not good. But
That's it.
there was at least something good. What's his name? James
Yeah.
Durant of the Oklahoma City Thunder, the NBA team. He pledged $1 million himself
Who's
for
that?
a refund. Durant from the NBA.
Well, he's a
team.
millionaire.
Well, he's not a billionaire, but he's one of the players from the Oklahoma City Thunder, and he.
Is he a starter?
Yeah, he's
Well,
a
he's
starter.
got a lot of money.
And then the rest and the entire team also matched it. So they already.
Let
have
me
$2
ask you a
million.
question. Bob Gates, Anthony.
Bill
He's
Gates.
a Bill Gates, rather. Billionaire. Multi.
Yeah.
Do you think he should get involved?
I think
He
it's
could probably rebuild the
I think
town
it's
with $1
his
billion.
choice. That's the thing about it. I don't ever assume that just because you're rich, you have to give money.
Well,
No,
you're obligated.
no, but I'm
it's
saying.
still your money. You can do what you want with it, and that should be your right. I don't ever buy when people go, well, they're rich, they should give. No, they don't have to. They do it out of the kindness of their heart. They don't have to give anything.
Right, I'm just saying.
So, no, I'm asking your question. I mean, if he wants to give, yeah, I think he should. If it was me, I would help.
Yeah.
But I don't think he has to.
No,
And
no
if-
one's saying he
and I
has
don't
to.
think people should badmouth him. If
I
he
don't.
doesn't.
I know, and
Because
that's
it's
not
his
what I'm referring to. I'm referring to, he's already given a lot of money. Maybe it's a shout out. I'm trying to do.
Well,
here.
the thing, I'm glad you bring it up because we can turn it back into a local story. And you weren't here then, Irvin, to know this.
Yeah.
So you don't remember this happening. Derek remembers, I'm sure.
Mhm.
But, they kind of pulled the same thing with Oprah. When Oprah came here, there were some people that said, well, Oprah's got money. Why didn't she give and help us with the city? And then there were people that felt like she should have donated and helped the Children's Museum. And my thing was like, hell no. If she wants to, yeah, but why are you making her? You guys are assuming that she has to. And there was conversation about that.
Well, I just got a message from somebody about saying absolutely no kids shown. Okay. Well, I gotta say something.
Who's showing
If
kids?
Mark Vaughn wants to ban us, we'll find another place to do our show because that was a public service picture.
Yes.
That wasn't just showing some kids.
Yeah, well, who keeps saying the kids crap?
Well, sometimes
abnormal,
it's-
Well, who the hell is
shit.
abnormal?
We don't just show kids.
I don't know. He's not even on.
You're not even listed abnormal.
They must have got off.
Fuck off, abnormal.
Okay.
Yeah,
They
well,
wanna ban it.
I've
They'll
already
find another place to
complained
go.
about that anyway because when you had these guys coming on that time, we were talking about my kids were on here a minute when they showed up with me, and everybody sounds like a bunch of whiny ass babies. Yeah, no kids, guys. Remember no kids, guys.
Well,
everybody acts like freaking it takes a village. No, it doesn't take a village. I raised my kids. Screw you guys.
Well,
Hey, I'll tell you what.
Fuck all of you chatters.
No,
Go out
shut
there.
up.
I want this show to end.
I know, I
I'm
think
making
you
the
do.
downfall of it now.
They're excessive.
Horrible bite takeover.
Will you shut the fuck up for once? No, I'm fucking serious.
No, I won't, Ed.
They're serious
Fuck you.
about it. Oh, blah, 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 blah.
Oh,
They're
fuck off.
excessively
We're going to
serious
get
about
out of
it.
here. I won't be here tomorrow.
No,
Fuck
you know what
off.
I'm going to say?
Ed, you got this seat tomorrow.
If they want to ban us, I will fucking take Vaughn Live and the fucking CNN and everywhere else and show them what they're doing.
Oh, who
What
gives a
the
shit?
Wait a
fuck
minute. Wait a minute.
announcement?
Fuck off, Vaughn.
All right, wait a
Fuck
minute.
that shit.
Fuck you, Vaughn.
Fucking goddamn.
We'll fucking bite the hand that
All right,
feeds
wait a
us.
minute.
Shut up!
A fluffy donkey says.
I want everybody to just disappear. I want the channels to start dropping off.
No.
Yes! I'm destroying this show. Every revolution, you have to break down what you created and start new.
No.
This show has become a hellhole.
All right. Well, they're excessive.
There it is, Breakfast Club. Go to Vorpal Bites show. Vorpal Bites has a show called Breakfast Club. He's trying to compete with us. Irvin, you stay on our show. Derek, please click on his. I want to see what Vorpal Bites doing.
All right.
Let's make fun of
Fluffy
Vorpal Bites.
Donkey says it's true. What Abnormal says. They're excessively strict about that.
Well, it's stupid.
Probably because they don't want to have bad experiences.
Well,
Yeah, but come on, we all have sense
we're
here.
not showing pedophilia
Right,
shit.
right.
We're not showing kids. We're doing a community public service.
Well, he says CNN.
That's Donnie Curry.
CNN would be so interested.
Is that
fuck
Donnie Curry?
CNN.
It looks
Yeah,
like
CNN's owned by Obama.
All right, Donnie Curry. Everybody's over at Donnie Curry. Look, we lost our crew. Look, so you guys, wait a minute. Gamer Girl and Sabuki are over there.
We're
And-
still
and
on
3-bit.
Place 3.
Whoa, they're jumping ship.
Well,
Wow.
that's all right.
Start writing something to them. Come on, let's play with it. This is fun. The last half hour. Let's just fuck around. Hello there. Now, Irvin, you tell me Donnie Curry's fucking excited.
Of course he is. It is the most views he's ever had. I mean, that's how it is.
We're doing our show.
And I want him to have his
simultaneous.
own show. Let him.
Well, no, what I thought, though, is this came across as Vorpalbite's show. Vorpalbite came on our chat going, hey, we got a new show called The Breakfast Club. Come on over.
Where is it?
Give Vorpalbite
It's
a
The Breakfast
contract
Club.
and throw
Irvin's
him
on it.
down.
I mean, Derek's on it right now.
Derek, send me the link.
See, everybody hates our show. It's not just because of Ant. It's because of all of us. It is a good time, guys. We'll talk about this. It's a good time to revamp. It really is.
To what?
Let's revamp our show.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's growing stale.
It's going stale to your standards, but
Because this is not what I wanted to come into. When I wanted to do a show, I wanted it to be the way we were doing it.
Oh,
what?
man.
Screaming at each other?
Yes, I like debate. I like the ups and downs, the positive and negative. I don't like all this kumbaya.
Well,
No,
but
I don't like
the
that.
kumbaya is.
You don't like kumbaya.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
I don't like kumbaya
Really
either.
got
But
to accept each other.
Well, he just ripped shit off from the movie.
yeah, that's okay. Let him stay on.
Hi, Master Meatball. You guys are going to take over to that show because unless we revamp this one, we'll be stopping it probably. No, actually, Irvin will keep doing it, and Derek.
Well,
Yes. I'm gonna go right back to our show where we were.
Yeah, keep that on tab, on other tab.
Okay.
Well, the only one on Vorpalbites is Fluffy Monkeys. I bet that's Vorpalbite. Fluffy Monkeys.
Vorpalbite, we already think is local anyway,
Mhm.
but he might not be.
Well, we're still on number 3. We just need to learn how to smoke more. We can be number 1.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Well,
yeah.
again, who cares about ratings? I'm telling you guys are too concerned. What's going to happen is watch. Eventually down the line, Breakfast Club is going to be in front of us, and then you guys are going to go back on your whole ratings thing you just said. You're going to go, oh, ratings don't matter.
all right.
show's
Well,
better."
wait a minute. It's like going to visit someone. Do you want to go where there is turmoil, or do you want to go where people discuss things in a mature way and don't scream?
I want both.
Well,
I want
what
turmoil
your show's
and-
producer, that was Bean, by the way. What Juice says, what your show's producer has to do is get you to move on to the next topic when your conversation goes in circles.
But
Just
you can't
my
decide-
opinion.
You can't decide that, Bean. Why does one person decide it's going in circles when the other three might think
That
it's
wasn't
not?
Bean. That was Juice.
Jews. Why does one person decide it's going in circle when the other three don't? I mean, that doesn't make sense. You're acting like one person has the say and the other three might not agree, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
who
I
cares if
also-
you have people here? What the fuck?
That's right.
Yeah, Vorpalbite ain't got no show.
No,
But,
Vorpalbite's part of Breakfast Club.
But I
Well,
do
where's
have.
the show? What's it called?
He's the one that told everybody on our chat to come
Where's
over to
the link?
Breakfast Club.
Bond.tv?
No, it's up at the top, man. It's right here, Breakfast Club.
Oh, that one there. Oh,
That's them. That's where Donnie Curry is right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. See,
Oh, that's Donnie Curry.
but it's Vorpalbite sending people over there. See, it's imitation's the best flattery, right?
Mm-hmm.
They like our
Hey,
show.
you know what? I want him to have his own show. Let him.
Well, he should.
I know
But
that it
see-
helps us.
But see, what I'm getting at, guys, is you have to.
Wait, Vorpalbite's out there giving him shit. He said, my computer is crippled now.
What you have to understand is we have to keep doing what we like to do and not worry about what the chatters think.
Right.
If you guys are going to go with the chatters,
Well,
then you're not doing what we want to do. I'm going to keep
No,
doing the
I
show
think
I want to
they-
do. If
he-
you guys vote me out, then okay, I'm out of here because I'm not going to stop being a loudmouth. That's just me on this type of show.
anyway, the more attention you give him, the better you launch
Okay.
him. Just saying.
I do have. Yeah.
He
But
just
the,
called him an ignorant slut.
No, I just wanted to check it out because I saw earlier on our chat, Vorpalbite invited everybody to come over there. He goes, there's a new show. Y'all come join us on the Breakfast Club, and that's why I told you to click over
And
there.
that's fine.
Right.
to go back, I was saying Kevin Durant from the Oklahoma City Thunder has donated $1 million to Oklahoma tornado relief, as well as his other teammates who also put in another
There you go.
That's
another
good.
$1 million.
That's a
That's
good man
good.
standing up.
Yes. Yes.
And, you know, they don't have to, but they should.
Yeah.
They got the money, and that's what we're saying.
Exactly.
Bill Gates doesn't have
Yes,
to. but-
However, on the downside of this, There are another group of people who don't like this.
Oh, hell.
Westboro Baptist Church.
Those assholes.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, they are.
Speaking of loudmouths that won't shut up. See, that comedy would not have been thrown in there if it was just you two sitting here. That's the point. I bring the comedy and the laughs.
Dumpster Babies, and you're entitled to
Yes.
your views, but so far, anyone that disagrees with you is tasteless and stupid.
I never said that. Where did I say tasteless and stupid?
Doesn't that look exciting? Look at that.
Well, we love Donnie. Donnie's great.
Exciting.
Donnie's great, but the thing about Donnie is Donnie's not going to have a
Wonder
show.
what he's drinking.
Donnie's not going to have a show every morning because Donnie doesn't have the ADD to keep a show going every morning. He'll have his ups and downs, and he's like, I'm not doing a show today.
I said Westboro Baptist Church
But he
is
should
really
do
ticked
one.
off. Is really ticked off about really don't have a don't like this going on. The infamous church blames the Oklahoma tornado on Jason Collins coming out. Going back to the NBA, a prominent member of the Westboro Church is drawing a link between the Oklahoma's tornado's devastation and local team support for openly gay NBA star Jason Collins. Fred Phelps Jr., the son of the West Baptist Church minister Fred Phelps, tweeted the following. The Oklahoma City Thunder, Durant flips God by praising Edward
Fag
Collins.
Collins. You can say it. We don't
Fag
say
Collins.
F word. That's the thing about it. It's freedom of speech. Say
Praising
fag.
Fag Collins.
Damn,
God,
you people are too
God
whiny
smashes
for me.
Oklahoma. You do the math. It says God's wonderful wrath in Oklahoma reminds me.
I don't see anything. Huh?
Well,
Well, that's what it's always been. He just listens to music and then
80s
And
songs.
I noticed that the other night when I clicked on there. I was like, one day he was making like leather something, and I thought, okay, if that's exciting, go for it. Yeah.
Well, that's good. I mean, listen, everybody is entitled to get on and
No,
have
I'm
a show.
all for it, and I'm still very appreciative of Donnie and everybody else that has supported our show. But the thing about it is, I don't care what these other guys say. We did this show because we wanted to do this show. I'm going to say it. I'm a selfish bastard. We did it for us. Irvin would admit that if he would be honest. We didn't do it for people. Let's face it. We did it for us. Now, we appreciate our audience. We appreciate our fans. We appreciate our chatters. But you know what? The show is being done because we wanted to do it. We didn't know how many people were going to become chatters and viewers when we did this show. We just said, let's do a show because we want to do a show, and the other one here locally sucks.
Right.
You
Well,
know, what I could probably do, I'll try it maybe. If this show doesn't last, or if I can't do it much longer, I'll maybe go apply and try to get on a local station. And maybe I could get a show that way.
Okay.
Alone. And then maybe they'll go, well, you know what? Watching the tapes, Ant was pretty good on there. He's a little loud and a little obnoxious.
Yeah.
But who knows? Derek put in applications at GPB.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
But the thing about it is, I'm not going to sit here and get on a show every morning and act like I have to succumb to the wishes of the viewers.
Well,
I'm not doing this.
And
I'm
I
sorry.
disagree with that.
Well, y'all-
Wait a minute. It's okay. Relax. Let me
Okay.
just make a point here. It says, but nobody. He says it's more of a chat room. He's talking about Donnie Curry.
Right.
And then and we like it. That is why I am here. Okay. And then Plastic Gamma says exactly because. Then Dumpster Baby says no, but nobody is saying anything else. Like I said earlier, you're building a straw man argument that the show sucks without you. Fluffy Donkey.
No, I didn't say that. I said yesterday. You look at old video, and I said that I watched them on the show alone without me, and it was a good show. I've complimented them before and said it was good. The very first time I came on as Tower of London, remember, I told you guys it looked good.
Yeah.
When I was a chatter only, and I said, God, the show looks good. You guys
Well, the
sound good."
chat room
I
didn't
just
force
said-
Irv and Derek to do anything.
I
yesterday.
just said that yesterday, the hour and 45 minutes that I saw, I didn't see the whole show. I didn't see when Kuzno came on.
And we had over 41
I know.
viewers.
Beyond that,
chatted.
Beyond that, well, with that comparison, I can go look at Meth in the Morning. They had over 4,000 viewers locally. You're not going to sit there and go, it was a great show because they had 4,000 TVs tuned into them, are you, Irvin? Again, the viewers don't mean that the show itself is good. And again, it's opinion. You have to look at the show and say, was it entertaining?
Well, it did feel
people,
slow.
Did the people
as
excite them?
Because agrees.
It was slow. We'll watch part of it later, and you guys tell me your opinion. If you don't agree, that's fine. I just think it was slow. I think Irvin was struggling to talk the whole time, and it showed on your face, Irvin. You were trying to keep the conversation going, and it seemed empty. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that you guys weren't good because you didn't holler at each other. I'm just saying it just seemed kind of boring.
Well,
like meth in the morning.
That's why the show is made for 3 people, and that's why.
Or more.
That's what or more.
We like 4 too.
Or more came afterwards. But initially, when you and I sat down at Roasted, and we talked about the concept of the show,
Right.
and I kept repeating to you, and you kept repeating to me, that a 3-man show
Right.
is better than a 2-man show.
Or more even.
You never said or more.
No, I
I'm
did.
just saying
I
we wanted to start with 3 hosts.
I like the 5-man show we did at Shadows. Remember we had 5 of us? We had Bryant, Newt, and then us 3?
Yeah.
That was awesome. Because
when
I
we
think
had Chris on there.
Chris, I think when you have a
Hey.
big table and it's more like the setup that we thought, you're sitting in a bar, it's better. It's talking and it's back and forth and it's chatter. It's not 2 guys trying to live off of each other.
Where's that air conditioner?
Nah. Put it in front of me.
But it's kind of, yeah, but
No,
Go back to the Phelps.
yeah, the Phelps. I mean, now basically, Durant's doing a good thing donating. Well, the whole team is actually already put in $2 million, donated it for the team. But obviously, Phelps must not be an Oklahoma City fan. I mean, they just got the team, and then are you like trying to blame the tornado because they lost? That's why they got the tornado coming down here, or just on that? Because you just can't put it based on this one guy coming out, Jason Collins.
Well, these guys, we already know these guys at this church are assholes. They're going to complain. They complain about anything that's in the news because it gets them media attention. Let's face it. If it's a big news breaker, they want to be hooked to it. They want to be a tick, like Ed said, a parasite. And they want to attach themselves to it.
Wow.
It brings them attention.
But that's beyond tasteless. I mean,
Well, they've been
over 200 people have been injured, and 24 people died so far, 9 of them children, and you're going to blame the tornado on Jason Collins coming out of the closet. I mean, I really, who wasn't like the best player in the world. Now, if it would have been like Magic Johnson, who is HIV positive, he would have came out. Then that would have been probably much more bigger news. But the guy's been on 6 different teams for 12 years. I mean, come on.
They have to find a reason to hook onto this.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is, and that's their reason. They're hooking onto something in Oklahoma because that's where the tornadoes happen.
Well,
How's the chatters looking, Irv?
they're looking good.
Besides
They're all
hating
making
me.
still comments about what we've been talking about.
Well, they're offended. I'm sure I offended them all.
Well,
Because I know there's a lot of bleeding. I know there's a lot of bleeding heart liberals on these blog TV shows.
yeah, but
Anyway.
even still, I still think you I think you're just trying to find
No,
some
I
way
just
to get
don't
people
care
to.
because I am self-centered when it comes to this show.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
but-
this show is our show, we wanna do
that's
this
the
show
point.
for
If
us.
it's our show,
but not the chatters.
Right.
Ours. These 4. Our show. Our show.
no.
They're part of the show. We appreciate it, but
Yeah,
it's our show.
Remember
that.
I'm not going to argue with that point because in the end, it's right.
Right.
But I feel
Right.
like this is our show. Both the chatters, us. It's a show with an audience. Like it would be the same thing as being on national television, and the ratings are low, and somehow they keep that show on. No, they don't.
But it has to do with
They get them out.
But it doesn't have to do with your audience. It has to do with sponsors. If a show is getting money paid in because of commercial time
And ratings,
it's
but
gonna-
the sponsors
right.
are not going to give any
No.
money if the ratings are low.
You're right, but this doesn't play into that because it's for free. That's what I said earlier. We're doing this for free. This has nothing to do with making
Well,
money.
hopefully it'll pay off. God
It's not going to
willing.
ever pay off on blog because blog's all for free. I mean, no one wants to advertise with us. We know that. So all we can do is keep doing it because we did it the original way we did it, and which was for what, Irvin?
Well,
'Cause we
all I
love it
know,
and
all I
enjoy
know,
it.
Ant, is that we had over 40 chatters yesterday, and they stayed on throughout
Well,
the
I know,
whole
but
show.
I've been on shows
If
where we
the
had
show
over
was as
50.
boring as you say, they would have left.
Well, all you have to do is
I mean,
watch.
Saibuki stayed here till the end. Everybody.
Yeah, but again, it's their taste. I'm not saying that they can't have their taste. It's opinion based. But you watch the show, and if you still after watching it, Irvin, go, hey, it was a good show, then okay, that's your opinion. I'll respect it. In my opinion, what I saw, it just was not to me, that much of a show. Let me put it this way, guys. If I didn't know you two and I was flipping through Blog and Vaughn and looking at shows and I had no clue who you guys were and I stopped on you, personally, I would have been on you about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and I would have left. That's just me.
Okay. That's fine. That's your opinion.
Exactly. And that's all I was saying.
And if you were on, you would have
They might
been
have done
looking
the
in the
same
mirror
thing.
saying, oh, how wonderful I am. And I make this show awesome. Without me, there is no show. And I'm telling you, that's not true.
I might have said it's not awesome, but it might have kept my attention like a what?
Yeah.
Like a car wreck. It might have kept my attention because I might have said the guy on the left, the bald-headed motherfucker, he's an asshole. He's stirring shit up. I want to see where this goes. You get what I'm going?
Yeah.
I know that you...
There is the car wreck that plays a factor in these shows.
Okay, there is.
That's why Howard Stern was so successful. You got to have that.
All
guys.
right. You got to have a yin and a yang.
Exactly.
Okay. But your yin is bigger than our yang. How's that?
It doesn't have to be.
And it's well, it doesn't have to be, but you're making it that.
You can holler.
You're making it that, not us.
Do.
I think that our show yesterday was a very informative show. We were very serious. That's true. We didn't have the antics
there you go.
going off
I
and
like
being crazy. We
That's
didn't
good.
have that. And actually, I kind of missed it. I said, shit, if Anthony was here, he'd be going off on this one.
Or
But
just
at
make
the
it
same
stupid
time,
jokes.
it doesn't have to be that way all the time. I think that if we're going to be taken seriously,
Right.
we need to have a show that's informative, and the funny shit will happen when it happens. You know I'm a goofball. You know I like to goof. You know I like to ask stupid-ass questions. And so that's the balance. This show will be a better show with 3 people. I agree. There is no doubt about that.
Yes.
Or more.
Right.
All right? I don't like the or more. I like the or more as a guest. Because then there's just not enough time for everybody to give a full opinion.
Right.
And the point is to get 3 level-headed people. You start a corporation with 3 people. Okay? You can run a corporation with 3 people.
Anne's vagina says Anne has a superiority complex.
No, I admit I'm very opinionated. I've always been that way, and I'm stubborn. I'm a Taurus. I'm stubborn. I admit that.
Bullheaded.
But the thing about it is, I think you have to have the loudness and the occasional. Not the occasional. Take that back. You have to have the consistent talk.
Right.
You can't have dead air. You just can't have dead air.
Well, and the show didn't cater to the crowd, as you said earlier. He did his own thing, or we did our own thing, and it was a success. I mean, and that's the thing. As long as the chatters are happy, and we were reading chatters back and forth yesterday, which I think,
which is all you can
and
do.
we
though.
all agreed that is something we ought to be doing more
But that's
of.
why you and I noticed
You said that before.
But I noticed that on the show. You were doing that because you had nothing else to play off of. You were talking nonstop. You had to keep going to the chatters.
I think that
Otherwise,
the
you
chatters
would
were
have sat
helping
there going,
us
The chatters are no different
to
than
formulate.
any show.
I was all right.
That's probably why the chatters liked the show better, because they felt like you were paying attention to them more. They didn't want to whine and cry.
Well, because
about being ignored.
I think that instead of just hearing ourselves talk all the time and having all these brilliant ideas, that we can get some great dialogue going off the chatters.
I agree.
Yeah.
We've talked about that.
Ellen
You have to
Macon
have
and
the
so
chat.
what? I was
Ella
minding
Macon says
them.
being a Taurus has nothing to do with it. It's just I guess you just straight bullhead. It ain't got nothing to do
What did Ellen Macon say?
That being a Taurus has nothing to do with it.
Yeah. And,
Well, you're right. It might not, but it might, because Irvin's a Taurus too, and he's pretty damn stubborn as well.
well, yeah.
But
so,
I'm an Aries. The Rams.
But
What does
you're
that
not
mean?
stubborn, are you? I mean,
oh, you got the
stubborn?
2 horns, don't you?
Yeah, but they don't say Aries are
it's too
stubborn
curved.
anyway. So he's just because he's got horns doesn't mean he's stubborn. The sign.
No.
doesn't say
What
he's
I'm
stubborn.
saying, he's using a horn to keep us both at bay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Shit, we got a lot to do.
Speaking of controversy and getting on people's nerves, Sergio Garcia is at the center of a racist storm after insulting Tiger Woods. At the
I
European-
love this. Oh, let's.
Sergio Garcia basically had to apologize to Tiger Woods last week for saying that he would have fried chicken at dinner with his rival, a comment that was described as hurtful and inappropriate. He says, I want to send an unreserved apology. I did not want to offend anyone, Garcia said. My answer was totally stupid and out of place.
Oh, okay.
He was at a European Tour Awards dinner Tuesday night when he was jokingly asked if he would have Woods over for dinner during the U.S. Open. The two players have been verbally sparring since the Players' Championship nearly 2 weeks ago. And Garcia replied, we'll have him around every night. We'll serve more fried chicken. And remark took the golfer's differences to an ugly territory back, reminiscing when Foley Zeller made a similar comment about Woods after he won the 1997 Masters, being the first black player of black heritage to win a major, somewhat black heritage. You know, saying, I guess next year we're going to have fried chicken and collard greens, or whatever they're going to have. Watermelon. Yes. See, that's the problem. I mean, whether you think he's not black or sort of black or kind of black or drop of black or whatever that is, the thing that just grinds my gears, like, why they all, we know that he's mixed or something. How come they don't say anything about the other side, the Thai side, the Asian side of it, but they want to focus on the black?
I am the guy. I'm the one that always says Obama.
Yeah, but
that Obama's white and black.
Yeah, but
they gets on me and goes, "Oh my God, he's black." No, he's white and black.
Yeah, but the only time when they mention the black part is when it's something bad, the negative part.
Well, this guy does.
Just like
right.
when he won, he said, "Oh,
he could have said, why don't you go get a fajita or whatever, or
some soy sauce or something like that." Yeah. No one don't bring up soy sauce because he is half Asian.
You know, this, I mean...
They always bring up the black part when there was something negative.
Again, this would not be a big deal if they just stopped reporting on it. Because in the scheme of things, who really cares? If this guy, Garcia, is a racist deep down, he's going to continue to be a racist on his free time, right? He's going to continue to be a racist at home. He's going to continue to be a racist among his friends. Life goes on. Mm-hmm. They're going to still allow him to play golf, right? And he's still going to do his game. He's still going to get paid. So let's move on. Okay. I mean, what else is going to happen? I mean, really, that's my thing. Is every time everybody brings up the race thing in these cases, all it does is show someone how they might be, but it doesn't stop anything else. I mean, people might say he won't get sponsors, but come on, correct me if I'm wrong. Has Garcia been getting sponsors anyway? I mean, is he a big commercial guy anyway? No.
I mean, outside of Spain, no, not really.
So I mean, who cares? Just ignore this guy's comments and just not even report. No, I'm saying you. Okay. I'm saying the media should have just ignored this shit.
Okay.
It goes on for too long.
I do have some other sports-related stories. The Spurs are trying to avoid the West Finals deja vu. They're 2 wins away from the finals. They're 2 wins away because they beat the Grizzlies 93-89 in overtime. They almost lost the lead though in the middle of the game, but they did come back in overtime. So now they do have the lead so far in the playoffs, in the conference finals at 2-0.
Right.
So they have 2 more to go to make it to the finals to go against whoever's winning between the Miami Heat and the Indiana Pacers, who are going to be playing, which will be on TNT tonight, 8:30 p.m. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, the Indiana Pacers versus the Miami Heat. So who you're going for, we'll find out sometime tonight at 8:30 on TNT. Also, Michael Jordan, the owner of the Chicago Bobcats, is changing the mascot name back to the original name, the Charlotte Hornets. The original name.
Why? Does it say why?
Why?
What made them decide that?
Well, they were originally, when they were a expansion team back in the late 80s, back in 89, and they were bought by former CEO and former starter of the BET network, Bob Johnson. Since his name is Bob, he changed it to Chicago Charlotte Bobcats. But now, since Michael Jordan has taken over, he's decided to change it back to the Hornets.
Right.
That's all that I have so
far.
far.
So it has nothing to do with like people complaining about the mascot, like the Redskins or the Chiefs. It doesn't have anything to do with, I whined about a bobcat, or I whined about...
Well, there's a bobcat.
It's a bobcat.
Who's
I'm mad.
Who's offended about a bobcat? What, because a bobcat's not a real cat? It's not as big as a lion or a tiger?
That was the reason behind it.
It's a cat named Bob.
Bob.
That's what makes it different.
Shit,
by the way, could we jump from that to this? Because I think Anthony will love the story. We'll be quick about it.
Okay.
But I think this is something that Anthony will agree with. How's that?
I don't want to agree. I like to disagree.
All right, here we go. Bibb County contractors meet with residents for input on parks plan. This is they're going to meet and talk about the SPLOST money. It's $39 million.
Yes.
Okay, and how they're going to spend it.
Splash.
All right. As Bibb County solicits ideas from the public on its Parks and Recreation Master Plan, some residents say they've been down this road before. The first of our 4 community input meetings to formulate a plan to spend $39 million in SPLOST funds on the county's parks was held Tuesday at Mount Moriah Mission Baptist Church. How come they have these meetings and they never really inform the public?
Right, because they don't want nobody to know.
Exactly. The topic was familiar to Merritt Johnson, head of the Bellevue Concerned Citizens Community Organization. We've been talking about this since the 70s, Johnson said to representatives, Placemaker Studio, which facilitated the meeting. All we have is a pile of dirt out there, Johnson said, referring to Doors Lake. We're rehashing some of the stuff we've gone over, Johnson said. All we do is get promises from some of our elected officials, but all of them. Why are the pools in the neighborhoods broken down?
Hey, Rosin.
And he has Unionville. And Peggy Winters, president CEO of ZT3, remarked to a dozen or so people at the meeting that regardless of what promises were made in the past, SPLOST funds for Bibb's recreation are earmarked and will be spent. I'll leave the story at that. All right, so they're now saying finally they're going to do something about something.
Yeah.
All right.
So what do you think, Anthony? You've been around here for a long time.
I don't care.
You've heard this shit before.
I'll believe it when I see it. I don't care. I mean, it's what it is. You know, you're talking to a guy who thinks all this local government sucks. So
Yeah.
people gonna do what they're gonna do.
You're
What do
right.
you think,
To tell you
Derek?
the truth, I wasn't listening to half what you said, Irvin.
I mean,
You want what? You want?
I'll be honest, I wasn't listening to that. I'm gonna be straight up with you. Unlike you, I'll admit I wasn't listening to half what you said. I pulled an Irvin. Well, you know, sometimes when we talk and you're not sitting over there on the chat.
No. Irvin does his shit
didn't hear
by
half of
nature.
it. I honestly didn't hear half of it.
Irvin does his shit by nature.
I didn't.
You do it deliberately.
No, I didn't do it deliberately. I was looking at. I was telling Derek to check the ratings at the
yeah,
top.
I did. Yeah.
And looking at Derek's story about what I had here, the Boston guy that was killed that they said was connected to the bomb. No, I was just telling you what I was doing, and then I zoned out on half of what you said.
Well, don't look at the viewers today, because we just got a message saying that their viewer count's not right anyways. A global message just came through a little while.
Oh hell, a viewer right? Oh shit. So we don't.
Okay.
We might be on here to nobody the whole time if our viewer count's not right, except our chatters.
Right.
No, I mean, in all honesty, it's what it is. It's SPLOST money. It's taxes. You know what the hell? I mean,
are they going to spend it?
I think taxes are out of control anyway. I mean, you know, you guys were all pro SPLOST, right? Were you pro SPLOST?
Yes.
I mean, you answered the question. I didn't really give a shit either way, to tell you the truth, about the SPLOST.
It's only a penny.
I mean, I didn't give a shit. So I mean,
1 penny here, another penny
Yeah,
there.
I know, but as long as they do something with it, that's a
You know,
problem.
they want a small
Yeah.
sample.
That's always been the problem that I believe would be the problem.
I'm very curious to see what Wordsmith is today because of what happened, and also what Daily Bread is.
Go. Let me bring up Daily Bread.
It'd be funny if
Okay.
Daily Bread's something about not getting along.
No.
Or having
what
opinions.
Daily Bread is going to say,
As
and do
opinions.
not think of yourself higher than you ought. Or it may be, do not put yourself in the seat of honor, for you may be asked to
How many
step
pages
up.
are in the book?
It's not 650.
Not
It's
650.
583.
Okay, page 522.
522
Because
for
today is
Derek.
522.
Awesome.
Okay.
Anybody
Number.
else can pick the number.
Yeah, pick an entry number.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
So there's 9 entries.
So we pick some 1 through 9.
Eve put in 5. Number 5.
Number 5.
Number 5.
It's either tear or tear, but most
Yes.
of them fit because we've been crying today.
Yeah, you're tearing the show
I
apart.
don't get to talking with
It's tear or tear.
Yes, that's today's word, tear or tear. English has 2 separate words, tear, both of ancient ancestry. The sort of tear that one weeps, Old English, goes back together with its Germanic relatives, German, Train, Trane, with the A with the 2 dots on top. Dutch Tran, Swedish Tar, and Danish Tare, Taare, to prehistoric Indo-European Dahru, a word of uncertain origin, which also produced Welsh Deryn and Latin lacrima, the source of English lachrymal and lachrymose. Tear, rip, Old English, also comes from an Indo-European base, der, tear, which also produced the Russian drat and Polish drugs, tear. The base der denoted the concept of flaying as well as tearing, in which it produced English turd and Greek derma, skin, source of English dermatitis and epidermis, etc. So that's your word of the day.
Thank you. That fit.
Yeah.
Tear or tear.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ed.
I don't know how in the world you got
natives
turd.
are wrestlers.
What
But
the hell
tear.
was that?
It was the natives are wrestlers.
What was that?
The cheer.
That was a bad cheer.
But how did
Well,
you
look,
sound
guys,
like
it's
a bunch
time
of
to get
natives.
clock
Yeah.
already.
Exactly.
You guys close it up, Daily Bread or whatever.
All right,
we had
let's-
this story, but who cares?
I think Daily Bread relates. And
Let's say this one in passing that Derek pulled up and I brought. FBI agents in Orlando killed a person that they think is connected to the Boston bombers. They went to interview a guy who was an associate of the Sarnev brothers, and at first the interview was going along splendidly, and then all of a sudden they said the suspect made an aggressive movement, and FBI agents opened fire. The suspect's dead. You had the picture up there.
okay, what was the aggressive
They didn't
movement?
say that. I just wrote that on the news this morning.
I smell
But
another
Derek-
bad story.
But Derek had the picture of the guy a minute ago. I don't know what he did with it. When you were telling the story about the Splost, he had it.
Oh yeah,
flash
yeah.
up
'Cause I was
there.
going. It was on the Yahoo.
But
well-
anyway, just look it up yourself.
Look it up. It's probably
Let's
another.
visit. Let's visit the Breakfast Club before we do Daily Bread.
Okay,
I want to see Donnie Curry's face.
and he's number
5,
6.
7, 6. We're 4. They're 6. Donnie Curry.
There he is.
Did do I have you on
Low
the show?
register went over there.
I think I do. Hey, what's happening? Derek, Irving, and Ant?
Yeah, we're almost done with our show.
Hey, your mother's a hoe. Welcome to the show.
But we're leaving in a minute, Donnie. We're just coming to check you out before we go. We have to check out the competition because I know, but I'm having him write it. Also, I'm saying it for our show, so they'll report it back to him.
While you're writing to Donnie, I'm going to read
Daily Bread.
a Miss Lunch.
Right next door.
Well, we're leaving. I mean,
Yeah.
we're going.
For me, it is more a necessity. It's a wonderfully enjoyable part of my life. I enjoy sitting down to a well-prepared meal, especially when I'm feeling hungry. I imagine that the disciples were hungry for lunch when they returned to the well where Jesus was interacting with the Samaritan woman. They urged him, "Rabbi, eat." John 4:31. His response, "I have food to eat which you do not know," verse 32, which made them wonder if someone had already brought him something to eat.
Al Tillman.
There's a connection. I wonder if the disciples were so consumed with thinking about food
I love
that they did not see past their picnic.
it. I love it.
They didn't understand the significance of what was going on as well.
It's Al Tillman.
The most important thing to Jesus. No, there's you here too.
Okay, I love this.
Okay,
This is
let's
awesome.
we're gonna turn the tables on you.
I love this. Come on.
Turn the tables. Anyway, they didn't understand the significance of what was going on as well. That's you. The most important thing Jesus was to do was to will to him who sent me to finish his work.
Right.
He was focused on the spiritual needs of this woman who desperately needed what only he can give. This is the woman at the well.
Right.
It's easy to become preoccupied with the needs of the moment, but Jesus invites us to
Al
get...
Tillman.
No, this is you.
It's Al Tillman too.
No, this is you.
It
Ready?
fits both.
But Jesus invites us to get beyond our own self-interest,
Al Tillman.
our little lunch,
Right.
to open our eyes to the souls who are searching for answers to their desperate needs.
Maybe.
So join Jesus as well.
A little bit.
You wound up today.
A little.
Oh, is that it?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Since you interrupted me, I guess you're important than what God has to say.
He can't stop. That's it.
So join
It's a
Jesus.
medical condition.
So join Jesus as well and let him use you to tell others about the spiritual food he can only give. Dear Lord, may our eyes be fixed not upon the things I'm interested in, but lift my eyes to see the need of souls around me. Give me passion to the lost and the joy of seeing others satisfied in you. Be hungry to satisfy the needs of others around you. Jesus said to them, my food is to do the will of him who sent me and to finish his work.
Yes.
Now, that
John
goes back to
4:34.
your opinion
John
about the
4:34.
chatters. I think
very
that
fitting.
some of our chatters come to our show because they have needs just to interact
I
and
agree.
to do other things.
I
And
agree.
as you and I said, and we said, our own needs are being met because it gives us an opportunity to vent
Yes.
and to do other things. And you have said that.
Yes.
You do the show,
And make a
it makes
difference.
you feel better
And make a difference.
and make a difference.
Because we have, in 10 months of doing this show, almost 10 months, we
Yeah.
have made a difference in a big way.
Very big.
I think so.
Concerning the Sammy Davis Jr. case.
And
in
they have
particular.
made a difference in my life by
And
being on the
I
show.
agree. I'm not saying that the chatters and the viewers aren't appreciated. I just am being honest that we did this show.
This is after you said I don't give a
No,
shit
but
about
listen,
the chatters.
because Urban,
Get out of here.
because
You're
Urban,
not important.
I was being funny with that because I'm just a loudmouth, opinionated guy is what I was doing there. We appreciate it, but let's be honest. We started this show. We didn't know how many chatters were going to join us. That
Right.
shows that we did it because we wanted to do it for us. We didn't do it knowing we were going to end up having 50 viewers. We had no clue who was going to show up. We could have stuck with 10 people the whole time up to this
Well,
point.
that was one of the first thoughts in my head when we
don't
started
know.
the show.
We honestly
I'm hoping
did it.
that viewers come on
Right.
because I'm going to feel like a stupid ass
Right.
talking into a
But-
computer
but-
and just talking to thin air.
But what you have to give consideration to, which plays a part too, and Ed, thank you, does this, is also even if we did the show with nobody, the show is then put on where? YouTube. It's still seen after the fact. It serves as its own show whether chatters are here or not. We could have done this
We
show.
got people watching the show. I see people
Exactly.
watching
That's
it.
my point, Irvin, is we could do this show and tape it like it's not live, like a lot of shows in the big TV does, and then air it later, and it still can get out there regardless if we have 40 chatters. The show can still be seen after the live broadcast. So in a way, we could do this show without chatters and just tape it with nobody and then put it out there and then have
Yeah, you know
logo.
what? The whole idea behind this show is the interactivity.
Well, that's
Exactly.
what
That's
blog
that's
brings.
the whole
And we got no
idea.
chatters, we got no show.
But we
got
do-
the end coming up. It's
But
another show.
but Ed, we do.
And I'm not going to sit here
But-
for another hour.
But we do interact with them. I'm sorry if they whine because we don't give them every minute of the day. I'm sorry, Three Bears or Eve, that we didn't mention you. I noticed yesterday that some of them whined about, no one talked to me today. Well, I'm sorry. We can't always get to people on the chat. It's just the way it goes. We have a show. If we're not going to collect news stories that we have to get through, if we show up and just don't do any news and just say, let's start talking to you guys and sit here, then that's fine. But when we set up a program to where we have to go through news, we can't always get to the chatters. We've got stuff to do. Otherwise, I'll stop waking up and filling out this notebook. I won't look in the news. I'll walk here, show up and go, okay, go guys, let's talk to the chatters. This is what I'll do. We're doing a show with news, guys. We have to bring news. We're not going to get to you all the time.
That's what
Deal
we
with
did
it.
yesterday, Ant. But you said it was a boring show.
Well, watch it afterwards. We're leaving now. Let's watch it. We appreciate
later.
you all. I'll
See
see
you
you
later.
Guys.
Bye-bye.
Okay,
Tomorrow,
bye-bye.
Love
same
you
time.
guys.
Same time
Don't forget to
tomorrow.
check out the Heat versus the Pacers tonight on TNT 8:30.
Any WWE going on tonight?
No, not that I
Okay.
know. But there's an NHL game tonight. The Pittsburgh.
All right, who cares?
Versus Ottawa. Yeah.
They can catch it on the news.
Okay.
See, we're just here to talk to chatters, not news.
We'll see you tomorrow.
We're not going to mention news. We're just going to talk to chatters.
We'll see you tomorrow live at the Nut
Tomorrow,
House.
a new show. No news. Let's try it, guys. I'm serious. No news, all chatters related. Let's try that tomorrow. I'm serious. Let's try it. Cool Card 69. I love it.